preparation this week. Let them see what we did this week to prepare for this moment. Relentless effort, 4 quarters. Let's start fast. Let's get after them right away. Let's get after them. Let's pray.
And just about 4 minutes ago in the Notre Dame locker room, setting the scene for our primetime game here. 65 degrees, a slight breeze, clear night in South Bend. 10th meeting Notre Dame and Florida State. Brian Kelly and his team ready to get back to work after 3 weeks of waiting from that last game played, the victory over South Florida, the game postponed against Wake, and then a scheduled bye week. The Noles making their way down that confining visitors tunnel from the locker room down the steps, and they'll come out to the field here momentarily. 1-2, trying to find a way to beat an FBS opponent for the first time this year. Irish have their sights set on big things, and for the first time in 3 weeks, here come the Irish. Kelly's been doing this a long time. 362nd game as a head coach, and he's never been in this situation. Start the season, play 2, off for 2. He's wondering what he'll see out of his team. And his quarterback Ian Book, all he does is win. The senior from California, 22-3 as a starter. Visit number 5 all time to South Bend for the 3-time national champion Florida State Seminoles. The Seminoles, Mike Norvell, he is the head coach. He was at Memphis the last 4 seasons. He missed the Miami game, dealing with COVID-19 himself, recovered, was on the sideline last week. Florida State's 3rd head coach in the last 4 years. Well, this year's all about constant change. A lot new after what the Irish have dealt with the last few weeks. For more on that, we welcome Catherine Tappan.
Mike, thank you. As recently as 12 days ago, 39 Notre Dame players were unavailable. 25 had tested positive for COVID, and 14 were considered close contacts. Brian Kelly said that dealing with this crisis within his team has been the most challenging experience of his 30-year coaching career. Now, when practice did resume on October 1st, Kelly and his staff instituted even more serious protocols for the team. For example, tonight, in an effort to keep players better socially distanced, 3 different dressing areas will be used. Roughly 50 players will be dressing in the stadium locker room, another 12 in an adjacent lounge, and nearly 40 more players will dress in a room nearby and walk over to the stadium where they will join their teammates, but they will stay confined to their own area inside the stadium. In addition, Notre Dame has removed sideline bench areas to create more natural social distancing using chairs, and Coach Kelly said that he is going to use his 5 team captains now more than ever to make sure these protocols stay in place and to hold players accountable. Mike?
All right, Catherine, good to have you back with us on the sideline. Tony Dungy with us. Tony, you can't even bench the quarterback. You chair the quarterback. The benches are gone.
Yeah, this is unbelievable. Having to adjust. I think that's it for Coach Kelly. He told us that they had a scrimmage on Sunday to get some live tackling in. That's unheard of during a regular season.
All right, let's talk about what we're going to see on the field. The last time we saw the Irish, 52 points against South Florida. But offense, it's hard to pick up where you left off, especially after 3 weeks. So what are you going to be watching for when Notre Dame has the ball?
Well, you heard Brian talk about starting fast. For him, that's the offensive line in the running game. Florida State, though, on defense, they're aggressive against the run. They use their safeties to stop the run. I think we're going to have to see Notre Dame throw some play-action passes early to control those safeties.
How about flipping around? Jordan Travis starts at quarterback, his first college start. What do you look for when the Noles have the ball?
Well, Coach Mike Norvell told us to beat Notre Dame, they're going to need big plays, and that comes with speed. That comes with playing with a fast tempo. Jordan told us we have to play as fast as the quarterback can handle it. So we're going to go fast. Notre Dame has to be ready for that, be disciplined on defense.
There is Jordan Travis. We'll get a look at him momentarily for Florida State. This is the 3rd game for the Irish, all 3 at home. And if you did not see the first 2, it's the same deal. About 10,000 on hand. It is students, staff, player parents on hand here at Notre Dame Stadium. Ian Book and the Irish offense to work first. Florida State will kick to end game. Chris Tyree, you heard Doug Flutie mention him before. Reason to be excited about what Chris Tyree does when he gets the ball in his hands. Notre Dame using him in the kick return game as well. And this guy's got a big leg. It's not guaranteed you're going to get a chance to take a Parker Roadhouse kick and return it. So the weather is perfect. Glad you're with us. We'll see if Florida State's talented athletes can handle the pressure and the test and step up and continue to improve for their new coach. Off we go from South Bend. And Tyree will take a couple steps back and bring it out. Tyree across the 20-yard line, pushes forward, fighting for extra yards as he gets out to the 27-yard line, and that's where the Irish will take over. So here comes that Notre Dame offense. We mentioned how good they were last time around. Tommy Tremble, keep an eye on him. Emerging as one of the best all-around tight ends in the country. Leads his team in receptions. They're also going to get back Kevin Austin at wide receiver. You'll see him a bit later on, perhaps. This group now totals over 100 career starts, all 5 together. The guy with the fewest starts is the center, Jarrett Patterson. Through 2 weeks, Pro Football Focus has him graded as the top center in FBS football. And he snaps it to Ian Book. The senior quarterback makes start 26 of his career. And on the edge on first down, he throws complete to Brock Wright. Wright will get it to the 31-yard line. It's a pickup of 3 on first down.
And I think, Mike, what we're seeing is Notre Dame coming out, seeing how Florida State is going to adjust to this multiple tight end set and the running game.
Ian Book's going to have a lot of different personnel groups at his disposal. You see those 22 and 3 numbers. He's got a chance to move as high as second on the all-time Notre Dame career touchdown passing list with a big night tonight. The gift to Kyron Williams, leading rusher on this team. He'll get to lost the football as well. It's free. It looks like Florida State's on the bottom of that pile. And they have it. So Florida State has come up with the turnover. Notre Dame does not turn it over very often. And wherever the ball is, Asante Samuel Jr. usually is. And he comes up with the game's first turnover.
He really is opportunistic. But again, this is what Coach Kelly was worried about, knocking the rust off. Kyron Williams' first live carry in 3 weeks. And this is unusual for him. You don't see that ball come out from him very often. Fumble, just what Florida State needed.
As you look, you watch Williams' knee just coming down with the ball coming out. So that's a clear fumble and recovery. Emmett Rice helped knock it out with his big hit. So here comes Florida State, and I think the booth is going to take a look at this.
We're going to look at it, but you're right, Mike. It sure looks like it was out.
And you said, Tony, as mentioned, other than that scrimmage, really not a lot of hitting for these Notre Dame players over these 3 weeks. Of course, we have Terry McCauley, 3-time Super Bowl referee, with us back in our NBC Sports headquarters, watching along with you. Terry, anything you see out of the ordinary there?
Nothing at all. Exactly what you saw, Mike. The ball clearly comes loose before that knee's down. A little surprised they're stopping it, but I guess they want to be sure about it.
Yep.
And that was Amari Gaynor, Mike, one of their very active, quick linebackers who stripped that ball out.
Tony, we heard Brian Kelly say this Monday at the start of the week, then reiterated it with us yesterday in our conversation with him. There is still NFL talent on Florida State. I know they've been down the last couple of years. They're off to a slow start. But there's enough talent here that if these guys get some early momentum, they become a much more dangerous opponent.
Absolutely. And you see the individual talent. What you see is breakdowns in technique, breakdowns in playing within the system. And the more they play, the more they get used to each other, the more the coaches get used to what they can do. You're going to see Florida State play better and better. And that was a big play. Gaynor stripping that ball out. And as you said, Asante Samuel, he just seems to have eyes for the ball.
Ruling on the field is confirmed.
So Riley Johnson, the referee, reiterates what Terry McCauley said. So it is confirmed, and a great opportunity. Asante Samuel Jr., the son of the 2-time Super Bowl champ, 4-time Pro Bowl DB. We'll get into Asante Jr.'s story a bit later on, but now it's Jordan Travis's moment as the redshirt sophomore from West Palm Beach, Florida, gets his first college start as a quarterback in great position at the Notre Dame 32. Gives to Jashawn Corbin, who run it 4 yards to the 28-yard line. So the deal with Travis, he He started his career at Louisville, played briefly, transferred right before Bobby Petrino was fired at Louisville. He's a Florida kid from West Palm. He landed here at Florida State. He played well in limited action last year, ran the ball effectively, especially against Boston College. Didn't think we'd see much of him last week as we have movement on the left side of that FSU offense. He replaced Tate Rodemaker.
Start. Offense. Number 58. 5-yard penalty. Second out.
Rodemaker, another freshman, got the start last week. And when Travis came in, Tony, even though the offensive line, like these guys up front have been struggling a little bit, he really made things happen. They scored on 5 consecutive possessions.
He does. He gives them a different look back there. And we're going to see a lot of this, spreading Notre Dame out, making them defend the whole field, and that'll give him run lanes. He's an excellent runner.
The penalty on Devontae Love-Taylor pushes it back to 2nd and 11. Pressure from Dalen Hayes in the arms of Kurt Hinish and Shane Simon. Travis goes down. It'll be a loss on 2nd down and set up 3rd and long.
Yeah, and this was a design quarterback draw. They wanted to spread everyone out, just pass protect, show pass protection. But a great stun up front. Dalen Hayes coming in there really clogging it up. And this is something obviously Notre Dame's ready for. Jordan Travis running the football.
No offense likes 3rd and long, right? But Florida State, especially with Travis, they don't know how great a downfield thrower he is. They really wanted to avoid these situations, and they have one here early. 3rd and 15. Irish rush 5. They flush Travis. This is where he is good. He'll get back to the 23-yard. They get very close to that 1st down. It's going to be a yard or 2 short. But he's going to give him an option here on 4th down.
And I would not be surprised to see them go for it. Coach Norvell told us he knows they're going to need big plays. They're going to need points. It looks like he's going to take his safe points, though, here.
Go for the field goal on 4th and 2. But a big play, that's what Travis does so well. He was able to get a little bit closer for Ryan Fitzgerald, a redshirt freshman who's back off of injury. As you see, missed from 49 last week in Tallahassee. This is from 42. And this kick is good. So the Notre Dame turnover on the 2nd play for the Irish turns into 3 for Florida State. And the Seminoles score first. Notre Dame football is brought to you by Little Caesars, now delivering pizza. By Just for Men mustache and beard for a gray-free game day. And by State Farm. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. And we're glad many of you are right there in the place where you, with your furry friends or your little future Notre Dame football players, enjoy watching the Irish every week. Students just through midterms here on campus as they sit with their friends who they've kind of created their own pods with. As everyone tries to remain in their small groups and socially distanced and masked when possible. Parker Grodhouse will kick it off one more time for Florida State. Chris Tyree brought the first one out. Going to let this one go. It'll go back to the 25. So the Florida State defense already forced a turnover. Let's introduce you to them. The really early mock drafts say 1st round projection on 21 Marvin Wilson. We haven't seen that form yet. We'll be watching with interest here tonight because he's got it. Linebacking corps, you know, it lacks the greats that we used to know in Florida State's better days. Sophomore Amari Gaynor already involved. Top tackler caused that fumble a couple of plays ago. And yes, that is the son of the 2-time Super Bowl champ, Asante Samuel. And yes, he has an eye for the ball. He already has 3 interceptions this year, and he's fallen on another fumble. That was a fumble by that man, Kyron Williams, who's back in the lineup for the Irish as they take over at the 25. Book giving to Williams through the middle and into the secondary and on the run. Williams inside the 25. Beautiful cutback, stays on his feet, and that's a way to get some redemption for the mistake. A 64-yard run.
I think you're going to see Tommy Tremble come across as a trap blocker and create this hole for Kyron Williams. And then it's just great vision and cutting, and Trimble will be at the point of attack on a lot of these big runs tonight.
They officially marked him at the 10. Is a 65-yard run. Williams gets it right back and goes forward for 2 yards. Tackled by Gaynor, who helped save the touchdown last time around. And Tony, that's why we mentioned in the lineups, Tommy Trimble, you can't just look at the receptions for number 24. He does so much in the run game that most tight ends around the country don't.
He really does. He prides himself in his blocking ability. He wants to be a complete player, and he is that.
FSU bringing in new defensive personnel. Top of your screen is 88. Javon McKinley. Notre Dame would like to get him some red zone catches, use his physical ability. Also a pretty good blocker. From the 8, here is Book scanning underneath. It's caught. It's Michael Mayer into the end zone. Notre Dame touchdown.
Excellent play call here. And this is a guy, Mike, we've known we're going to see in the red zone. Just on the drag route coming across, beating his defender. And he's just such a big target and such a good athlete. He's tough for any linebacker to cover one-on-one.
Both Emmett Rice and Leonard Warner, the two linebackers, almost got in each other's way. Both had a chance to take the crossing mare, but the freshman from Independence, Kentucky, who was the player of the year, one of the top tight ends recruited out of high school last year, finds the end zone for the first time. Jonathan Dorr adds the extra point out of the hold of Jay Bramlett. We're off to a very quick start here. A turnover by Notre Dame turns into a Florida State field goal, but the man who turned it over, Kyron Williams, got it down there, and it gets punched in by Mayer. First career touchdown for another in the long line of Notre Dame outstanding tight ends. 7-3 ND.
Toast to the return of Notre Dame football by raising a pint of Guinness, now a proud partner and official beer of Fighting Irish alumni and fans. Please drink responsibly.
It is October. The leaves are turning in this part of the country. It was a beautiful day to drive around the Midwest with the sun out and all the beautiful hues of autumn. There you see the no bench, as Catherine told us before, but on chairs, the offensive line discussing their work. Tony, they're excited about the guy back from Florida State, Corey Wren, kickoff return man. Let's see what he can do. He's got it at the 9. Got some speed, but you need some space to get that speed going. And the Irish are all over it at the 21-yard line. A.T. Bertrand in there for Notre Dame. So there's the Florida State offense working with the quarterback, Jordan Travis. Tamarian Terry, he's got a nickname, Scary Terry, because he's scary with his big plays. He has 5 70-plus yard touchdowns in his career. Now, here's where the struggle is the last 3 years, Tony. Offensive line, changing, inexperienced group. Darius Washington injured his lower leg last game. He's playing here, but they're going to have a tough time tonight, you think?
They really are. They're experienced on the right side, but very young on the left side, and that's been a problem.
Actually, they've already flipped around here on this second drive. They've moved Devontae Love-Taylor over there on that left side. So here goes first down, and on the ground to the 25-yard line for a gain of 4 with one of the 3 backs we'll see tonight with Damian Webb. He's the sophomore from Alabama, played at Jones Junior College.
Again, we're going to see that quick tempo. This is what Florida State wants to do. Spread you out, make you play fast, and make you adjust.
Cameron McDonald is the motion man. That's a tight end who's done some good things. It's Terry on the edge, throwing on the run, complete, and into the secondary to the Irish 43-yard line with Lawrence Toafili. So that's a player who, out of the backfield, had a very good game last week with 263 total yards.
And you're going to see Jordan Travis come out of the pocket. This is another thing they want to do to help that offensive line, but also to spread you out.
He beat Houston Griffith on that play. They go on the opposite side and complete a pass for about 5 yards inside the 40 to the 39-yard line. It was Tamarian Terry who made that catch, his 13th on the year to lead this team. Get a good sense of the tempo. The Irish bring pressure, and time here for Travis goes away quickly as he is brought down. Ade Ogundeji with, oh wait, I've got to say his full name, right?
Yes, you do.
His mom wants his full name, Adetokunbo Ogundeji with the sack.
You're going to see a blitz, Drew White, and that sets up one-on-one. And that's one of the reasons Coach Clark Lee is going to bring blitzes to make sure that there can be no double teams on those defensive linemen. That gives them a chance to win, and Ade made that big play.
There is Mom. Somebody text Mom. Let her know that we got her son's full name on as she requested. Ade Tocumbo. A terrific player for the Irish the last couple of years. 3rd and 11. Travis over the top. Incomplete. Trying to get it to Cameron McDonald, his tight end. But Sean Crawford, who we've seen start the game in a bit of a cornerback role here tonight, comes up with the pass breakup.
Yes, and this is what Notre Dame wants to do. Put Florida State in obvious passing situations. Make Jordan Travis throw from the pocket. That's a little bit behind, but a good play by Sean Crawford.
Crawford, the 6th-year graduate student. He's injured both ACLs, his Achilles, yet keeps playing and keeps leading on this team. Everybody's got an Australian kicker, it seems. Alex Mastromano is from Melbourne. Hangs it high, tough to catch. Lawrence Keys was interfered with as he made the fair catch of the 10. That'll be kick-catch interference on Florida State.
It's one of those youthful mistakes that we continue to see from Florida State. Would have had a great punt, had him backed up inside the 10. Now the penalty is going to bring it out.
Jayshon Corbett.
Kick-catch interference by the kicking team, number 10. 15-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. First down, Notre Dame. Timeout.
Corbin thinks that they got the wrong number. The coaches don't get the wrong number. Your battery's charged. There are a lot of high scores again. The Big 12 is spreading. See a lot of it. These guys have put up points, 52 in their last game. Ian Book, the quarterback. Tommy Rees, former Notre Dame quarterback, as most of you know, the offensive coordinator, age 28. The relationship between these two is so good. Reese wanted to make sure he got Book off to a good start here tonight. They did there. Brayton Lindsey, a little pop pass. He'll get out to the 32-yard line. The speedster out of Oregon with a good gain on first down, maybe a yard shy of the first down. Tony, when we were talking to Tommy Reese, he said he's learned what Ian Book likes to get going. How important is that for a quarterback and a play caller?
It really is something. You want your quarterback to be comfortable as the game starts. And for Tommy, he said, I know I've got to get Ian on the move a little bit early.
And that was the first play. Got him out of the pocket on the edge. Here trying to set up the screen, able to get it. Williams is a long way to go. Got back to the line of scrimmage and got the first down. He outraced Leonard Warner the third. Could have been a loss of 4 or 5. Instead, the chains moved.
Well, we talked about this, Mike, last game. These Notre Dame backs, especially Kyron Williams, they always end up falling forward, generating yardage after the contact.
Doug Flutie talked about the variety in the backfield. And even though Williams fumbled on the second play of the game, right back, the big 65-yard gain, back on this drive as well. He's really established himself as the #1 back here for Brian Kelly's team. Takes it to the 40-yard line, the gain of 3. Sophomore out of St. Louis, Missouri. Ran for 2,000 yards in high school. Last year we only saw him 4 times, but he has a complete game that he brings to the table.
He really does. They love him catching the ball out the backfield in the screen game, as we saw. He can run inside and outside, and he's developed into the lead back.
We saw Sibo Flemister. He had 127 yards in the last game against South Florida. A lot of backfield options. Book to the air. Lindsey with the catch to the Florida State side and the 46-yard line and a first down for the Irish.
Really, really nice job by Ian Book, just waiting it out. They had a bunch package going, and watch how it's going to uncover. And this is just good patience and good accuracy.
Speak of accuracy, Book has hit all 5 of his passes. That was a trademark of Ian Book when he got the job a couple of years ago. His completion percentage was 75, 78%, always very high. Williams left. Oh, he's got space. He's got lead blockers. He may take this the distance. Williams gone again. Notre Dame touchdown. Kyron Williams. Another home run shot.
This was the same play, Mike, that they ran for the long run. This time, Tommy Tremble couldn't even find anyone to block. We're going to see him come across, become the lead blocker, and there is no one there.
Yeah, look at 24. Come on. Give me something here. Wow.
Notre Dame has found something with that counter play.
And Williams, who had the 65-yarder early, adds 46 on that score, his third touchdown of the year. And the last thing Florida State needed in terms of their morale, where they were, is to fall behind early. We saw it happen when they fell behind to the Canes a couple of weeks ago on a Saturday night. Kyron Williams, he's carried it 5 times. He's fumbled once. He's over 100 yards, and he's got a touchdown. That's live coast to coast. Right after us, it's your local news for many of you, and then SNL. 8:30 on the West Coast, 11:30 here in the Eastern Time Zone on NBC. Kyron Williams in the middle of it all so far. The fumble on the first drive, 65-yarder on the second, and the 46-yard house call to put Notre Dame up 11. Florida State in need of a big play. Go very far on that return by Corey Wright. Back to the touchdown. Tony, what'd you see?
Well, I saw some outstanding blocking, Mike, and we're going to see it from a lot of different levels. Liam Eichenberg is going to take his man down. We're going to get Tommy Kramer pulling to get the blitzer. No one for Tommy Trimble to block. And then watch Javon McKinley over here just taking Asante Samuel off the screen. So that's blocking guard, tackle, wide receiver, everyone.
And McKinley told us this week that it is emphasized, going back to when Chip Long was the offensive coordinator for the last 3 years, if you want to see the field as a receiver, you must block. And that was
showed it there.
10 out of 10. Travis pitches to Philly on the outside, to Philly, I should say, to the 28-yard line. Catherine down the sideline.
Yeah, Mike and Tony, don't think that Kyron Williams missed the fact that the O-line did a huge amount of work on that 46-yard run that he had. He went over to the bench with his running backs, but then he made his way over to the O-line, fist pumped them, thanked them, and here we are right now, guys.
2nd and 4 here. Catherine, and a play behind the line of scrimmage by Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah, who shows up everywhere on this Notre Dame defense.
He's normally a rover, but now he's going to shoot the gap here. This is a wide outside play, but he's going to come inside with the speed to take down the running back.
Loss of 6 for Philly. And again, this is 3rd and long. The 3rd down so far for Florida State have been double digits, right?
Yeah, and it's 3 times we've seen losses on 2nd down that have created these long yardage plays. This is just what Notre Dame wants.
Again, Travis not as good a pocket passer, not as experienced. A 3rd and long, not the best option for him. Out of that pocket, trying to make a man miss. Took a huge hit by Owusu-Koramoah. Did an Elway-like helicopter as he hit the ground, 5 shy of the 1st down.
You can see the excitement that this young quarterback brings. He actually makes a couple of people miss, but Notre Dame good in coverage, and then they have the speed to react to him. That's why it's so critical to keep those 3rd downs at long yardage and not 3rd and medium.
A nasty shot there as Owusu-Koramoah hit him. He got airborne. Jason Adamiola was there to finish it off. 2 big hits from one of the better players for Notre Dame's defense. Mastromanno kicking 48 yards and muffed. Lawrence Keys didn't catch it clean, and Florida State comes up with the recovery. It's been a couple of weeks since he's been back in a return role for Keys. He was there the first game, missed game 2, so he hasn't been back there for a month. And Deontay Sheffield is on it for Florida State.
And you talked about our Australian rules punter, and just a different spin on the ball. And it's just a difficult ball to catch, especially when you haven't been back there and haven't done it live.
So Mike Norvell's team desperately needs this. They have struggled so far. 11 plays, 1 first down, but for the 2nd time in this opening quarter, they'll get to start a drive in Notre Dame territory. Brian Kelly talks to Keys about the error there. So from the 19, Travis on the inside give, only for about 2 yards for LaDamian Webb as they continue the rotation.
This has been the big problem now for Florida State so far. They've gotten to second down and had the negative plays. They've got to come up with a positive play here to at least get it to third and short, third and medium.
Second and 8. Designed run for the quarterback. Travis got the first down inside the 10 to the 5 and down to the 4-yard line. And there you see what Jordan Travis does very well. You said it so right, Tony. When you watched him when he wasn't playing quarterback, he was their most effective runner.
And this is an excellent play call. This is a design quarterback power play. And he's got lead blocking and he can make people miss. He's a determined runner. Very good second down call.
So first and goal for Florida State. Webb is the back. Travis will keep it untouched. He goes into the end zone for the touchdown. So the second Notre Dame mistake turns into points. This time it's a touchdown for Florida State.
They had a critical fourth down play against Miami. This is the play they were going to run. It never came off because of a delay of game, but it's a design quarterback option. Jeremiah Amoso-Kuramora had to take the pitch, and that let Travis be free for the touchdown run.
You hear some of the enthusiasm on that side. They need positive things to happen, right? They
needed a spark, and that punt fumble gave it to them.
Ryan Fitzgerald able to have the extra point. Irish almost got out there off the edge. Florida State right back in it. We're back in South Bend in 30 seconds. Tony, you see Notre Dame Stadium, and you mentioned it earlier. Brian Kelly brought the Irish in here on Sunday. After they practiced on Fridays, they were just getting back to football for the first time, and they had to shut the program down for a week with the COVID outbreak. And that was part of the concern, and we've seen it manifested in a couple of mistakes in this first quarter.
Yes, Coach Kelly told us he didn't want to go 3 weeks without tackling live. He didn't want to go 3 weeks without some of these plays we've seen. A live punt return for the first time in a long while. So it's just things that you can't coach and you can't create in a scrimmage atmosphere that Notre Dame's going to have to get used to here.
A terrific opportunity for Florida State not to get blown out here early and stay in this one. Grotehouse with the touchback. We mentioned the COVID-19 story. For those who haven't been following, because it's happened in multiple places, with the specifics to Notre Dame. Right after that South Florida game, you had players unavailable, and 3 days later, practice suspended. The Wake Forest game moved from its slot 2 weeks ago today to the end of the season. 39 players in total were unavailable, whether it was positive tests or close contacts. The team got back to practice 10 days ago in that scrimmage we talked about. That's how Notre Dame's timeline has gone since that South Florida game. And as Catherine told you, they're being much more mindful of protocols, even during the game, reminding guys, pull those gaiters back up over your nose and mouth. 2:51 left. Irish by 4, Book to the air, taking a shot for Kevin Austin, and it's incomplete. So there's the return of Austin, who did not play at all last year. A speedster was blanketed by Asante Samuel Jr. in man cover.
We thought we'd see this when Kevin Austin came in the game. Ian Book had Tommy Trimble wide open on the cross. He was running the crossing route as well, but he had his mind made up. He was going to try to get the ball to Kevin Austin.
I want to ask you about that if we get a second, Tony, because that always has made me curious how coaches think from a fan perspective. Here is Book taking off, and Ian jumps forward. Gets about 8 yards out of that scramble. It'll be 3rd and 2. Take a shot.
Before we go there, I'm going to give you my other pet peeve. This counter play that Notre Dame's run, they've run it twice, right, for 40 yards and 50 yards. Let's see how long it takes before we come back to it again. I know we always have the script and plays we have to get through. But if I got a play that's averaging 50 yards a play, I might want to call it again.
You want to come back to it right away?
Yes, see if they can stop it.
Chris Tyree is the back who's in there. It's 3rd and 2 for the Irish. And they'll throw one more time, and underneath it is deflected and incomplete. Just dropped, really. Joe Wilkins had it on his hands, couldn't bring it in, and instead of a first down, Florida State follows their score with a 3 and out.
Coach Kelly is just not seeing this crisp execution that he's wanting. And again, it's just lack of time together. This was a good call, good route. Ball just slightly hot into Wilkins and didn't come up with the catch.
So Jay Bramlett will kick it away for the first time tonight. Keyshawn Helton back deep to receive for the Seminoles. A very deep kick. It'll be returned. It'll be all net and 30, let's call it 38 yards as they down it just inside the 30. So good momentum for Mike Norvell's team. Maybe familiar with him if you watch college football the last few years. Not all that long ago, he was a wide receiver at Central Arkansas and then stayed there to start his coaching career. It's been a quick run. Tulsa on that staff, Pittsburgh connecting with Todd Graham here along the way, and then at Arizona State calling the plays. That offense got hot, and then got the head coaching job at Memphis, and man, did they score points. Look at the last 3 seasons, 43 points a game, 5th in the FBS over that span. And Irish fans remember Chip Long, who was the coordinator on the offensive side before this year. Well, he was with Mike Norvell at Memphis, so you got a little sense of what he can bring to the offense. Here's an open pass and a completion to Sidney, check that, Ja'Kai Douglas. And that gets out to the 46-yard line. So
Mike,
gain of 17.
That is all Jordan Travis. There is so much attention and focus on him not running that they left the receiver open.
You see what they can do with this offense with Travis. He tries that wide side throw. Incomplete for Terry, but Sean Crawford over there covering.
Sean got a great jump on that ball. He's back in corner. The coaches talked to us about how excited he was back in one-on-one coverage. That was a great move. He read it all the way, and if that ball's on target, it's probably picked.
Moving pieces in that Notre Dame secondary. We have seen Kyle Hamilton return from ankle injury, although he's not on the field at this moment. 2nd and 10. Travis on the edge in some trouble. So Koromoa grabbed him, but he completed it anyway to Terry onto the Irish side of the midfield stripe at the 48-yard line.
Another moving pocket, getting Jordan Travis out of the pocket, and we felt that Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah would have eyes on the quarterback today. He's been going to be one of the spies. That's a great play. Just an unbelievable throw under duress by Jordan Travis.
Kyle Hamilton back on the field for the Irish here. It's 3rd and 4. Owusu-Koramoah directing traffic. Travis loading up, going downfield. There's a chance, and it's brought in by Helton. Keyshawn Helton's in. No, check that, it's Terry. It is Tamarian Terry for the touchdown. 48 yards, another big play in the career of Tamarian Terry, who now has 18 career touchdown receptions.
And Mike, we saw how hard that Sean Crawford drove on that hitch. They come back to a little double move, slant and go. Sean jumped on it, Crawford jumped on it, and Tamarian Terry has the speed to go get this ball.
A history of big plays for Terry. Rings the bell from 48 there. And a big comeback by Florida State, down 11 just 5.5 minutes ago, and now they're on top.
What did Coach Norvell tell us? We need big plays if we're going to win this game. Got a big play on the punt, fumble, and then the long touchdown.
Extra point is good. And a shocking turn here as Florida State has taken a 17-14 lead.
What did Coach Kelly, all the Notre Dame people talk to us about? This Florida State team has talent. They have individual players who can make things happen. We've got to be on our details. Brian told us that yesterday. Fumble on a running play, fumble on a punt return, long touchdown pass. Just Notre Dame's got to settle down here.
And on the Florida State side, Tony, we watched them get blown out at Miami 52-10 a couple of weeks ago. And people saw that they're done. They're not any good. As you watch the Jacksonville State game last week, you could almost see a team starting to get better incrementally, in part because they've settled on something with this quarterback that they found.
No, Jordan Travis has given them that, and Catherine Tappan actually was talking to a couple of their players, and they mentioned that there's something about Jordan in the huddle. There's something about the way he competes. We believe in him. We feel like we can win with him.
And you can see that in the belief that they have, because he's gotten on the edge, made a few plays, and here we are at 17-14. A very high scoring first quarter. And the Irish will take over at the 25 for their 5th possession in this very busy quarter.
Okay, I'm still waiting for Notre Dame to come back with this counter play. We'll see. Tommy Rees, don't let me down. Dial it up here sometime in this series and see if they can stop it.
Let me come back with my fan question, because Kevin Austin, he's a speedster. He's on the field. That was almost like one of those, you're going to take a shot. We're going to take a shot, even though the other receiver is open. Are you still okay as a coach that you took the shot down the field for what it can do later on?
You really are, and I think it was designed that way. Hey, we're going to put Kevin in, and we've got to go route to him. Play action, go, give him a chance to win, and I think Ian Book was looking for him all the way on that play.
Kyron Williams back in as the running back. And he has it for about 3 to the 28-yard line as we get towards the back end of a very busy first quarter. And the Irish will sneak in one more play here on 2nd and 7.
Going to a spread 4 wide look with the same personnel.
Book going to take another shot downfield. McKinley holds on to the 35-yard line. Big gain for Javon McKinley to end a very entertaining opening quarter here in South Bend. Geico back at Notre Dame Stadium. Mike Tirico, Tony Dungy, Catherine Tappan on the sideline. Jack Collinsworth, Doug Flutie, we're with you here at halftime. Good to have the whole team with you. The Irish and the Seminoles in prime time. (17-14) Florida State as we begin the second quarter. There's that 344 of total offense that I mentioned at the end of the opening frame. Ian Book has opened 6 of 8 in that first quarter. Crossing pattern, it's McKinley. And he'll take it out to the 31-yard line for his second grab after the 36-yarder to end the quarter.
Javon told us yesterday one of the keys in playing against this Florida State defense was to run fast enough to make them turn their shoulders. And he did it on that last play of the first quarter.
Kyron Williams to the left into the boundary, diving forward for the marker. He's marked out. See where the ball ends up and what the Irish are going to have. Looks like it'll be 3rd and 1. We have a Notre Dame injury as a player is down for the Irish. It's Liam Eichenberg. Eichenberg on all 4s. He's probably as good an NFL prospect as Notre Dame has on that offensive front, starting his 29th consecutive game here today.
I think he's got a sackless game streak that's it's been over a year now.
Looking at Liam Eichenberg's eye on the sideline. So Aaron Banks moves from guard to tackle. Dylan Gibbons goes in left guard. 3rd and 2. They run that way, and Williams continues to get yardage when hit to the 21-yard line. Tony, you made the point going to break that you said earlier. They get extra yards.
Mike, he is really amazing. Watching him for 3 games now. Finish runs, fall forward, leg drive after contact. This contact is right here at about the 27-yard line. He's going to finish this run and get down to the 22. Again, breaking another tackle, just continuing to drive.
Already 129 yards. Here is Book, has time, throws over the middle into traffic. Mayer comes down with it. Michael Mayer, the touchdown earlier. Very tight window for the reception to the 5. 1st and goal, Notre Dame.
They call him Baby Gronk, but he is a force, especially in the red zone. Again, just coming down, little nod outside, and the presence to just catch that ball in traffic and adjust. That is great body control for a big man.
It's a heck of a throw, too. Very small area for Book. 1st and goal for the Irish. Design run for Book to the goal line. Ian Book is stopped just shy. as he got nudged before he could break the plane, looking for his 4th rushing touchdown of the season.
Good job. This design sweep, very similar to what Florida State ran. And you've got Tommy Tremble again sealing it off here. The ball just doesn't make it to the goal line.
Yeah, he tried a little bit, thinking about leaning it back there as he was spinning around.
That's well designed. It's really a power run, power sweep with the quarterback carrying the ball.
Good. Dotson hit him. There's Tommy Tremble.
These have been sneaks in the past, Mike. We'll see.
Tremble leads the way. Untouched. Williams to the end zone. Notre Dame retakes the lead. Touchdown 2 for Kyron Williams tonight.
Nice vision, nice feet. Really a nice run. Designed inside run. And he just sees the daylight to the outside and has the ability to just slide it out, make it look easy.
The Irish have scored on 3 of their 6 possessions here in this first half and retake the lead as Williams now is 2 on the night and 4 in the first 9+ quarters this season. Jonathan Dorr adds the extra point. Points. 21-17. Notre Dame takes the early second quarter lead. Notre Dame football is brought to you by the all-new Tech Forward 2020 Lincoln Corsair. By Coca-Cola Zero Sugar. Together taste better. And by Jersey Mike's Subs. Be a sub above. These guys didn't need subs. You talk about the great tradition and legacy of these programs. Heisman winners at both schools and the quarterbacks who've done it at Florida State over the last couple of decades. Last Jameis Winston 2013. Kyron Williams just getting his offensive guys to continue what they have done. They have dominated Tony up front.
They really have. And sometimes, Mike, you can get mad with a guy when he fumbles, and you got a lot of good backs you could take him out, but I'm glad Notre Dame stuck with him and kept pumping him the ball.
Corey Wren's going to take it from a few deep and get out across the 20, brought down the 22-yard line. Jordan Botelho, who had that block punt and touchdown a couple of games ago with the stop. Hey, Catherine, what about this quarterback coming out here for FSU?
Well, he also brought his family here, Mike. He's got his mom, his dad, his brother, Devin, who played baseball for FSU and is in the Pro Baseball League, in Major League Baseball, rather. His Pop Warner coach as well. And his brother, Devin, said that they actually grew up University of Miami fans, but when Devin went to FSU, Jordan's dream was to be a Seminole. And he added that as an athlete, all you can ask for is an opportunity. That is exactly what my brother's getting here. His dad added, I think Devin's a little bit more excited than Jordan is tonight in South Bend, Mike.
Travis, of course, with the Blue Jays for many years, but not in the bigs last year, hoping to get back into Major League Baseball. But being around Jordan during the COVID time, had somebody else to train with. Out the back door, it was LaDamian Webb after being hit the first time, taken to the sideline and thrown down by Tariq Gracie. The Irish defense comes up with a loss of yards on first down for FSU.
They dialed up a run blitz here, and they're trying to close these gaps. You're going to see the pressure come. Drew Wright right up the middle. Nowhere to run, had to bounce outside, and they chased it down. But that's what Clarkley wants to do, create negative plays on first and second down.
Second and long for the Noles, 2nd and 16.
Owusu Koromoa was coming. Let's see if he comes off the corner.
Jordan Travis saw it, wanted to let everybody know he's going to keep it and go the other way. Get away from 6 in blue. And 7's
That's a good check.
7's tough too. Isaiah Foskey comes over, makes the tackle.
Hey, you're going to come off my right side. I'll run to the left.
But still a good play by Travis. Remember, he hasn't played a ton of quarterback lately, and getting back in there, having that command of the offense.
To recognize it and audible away from it, very nicely done.
Not had a lot of success on third down. This 3rd and 7.
Notre Dame's been rushing 5 guys in this situation to try to close off those run lanes.
Pressure comes. Travis fires. It's high. It's incomplete. He saw the pressure and he almost threw into an interception.
And last 3rd down, he moved around, ran, found someone. So they don't want to let that happen. And they're bringing the blitz to get it out of his hand. And the blitz, Owusu Koromoa and Kyle Hamilton.
And Tariq Bracy underneath almost had the pick. There's Hamilton, back from the ankle injury.
Forced that ball out of his hands quick.
All right, the punter was not back. He was split out as a wide receiver. Special teams wrinkle. Now Alex Mastromano is back, ready for the snap. Lawrence Keys is back for the Irish. See what kind of spin he puts on this one. 44 yards. Keys steps up, makes the fair catch at the 31. Irish take over there. Notre Dame leads by 4. High-scoring first half. Performances from the biggest names in music. Kelly Clarkson will host. It's the Billboard Music Awards. We look forward to that live Wednesday night on NBC. The Word of Life mural on the Hesburgh Library here. Everybody else refers to as Touchdown Jesus. Lindsey on the reverse. Braden Lindsey trying to get some blocks from McKinley and Tremble. Not much, only a couple of yards as they continue to feed it to the speedster. Remember, Willie Taggart was the coach at Florida State. Before Florida State, he was at Oregon, and Lindsey was going to go to Oregon to play for Coach Taggart. Coach Taggart left for FSU, didn't last 2 full seasons there. So Lindsey was free and available. He ends up coming to Notre Dame, and now here he is playing against Florida State.
Yes, and he's a guy they want to get the ball in his hands, has tremendous speed.
32, it is Sebo Flemister in the lineup for the Irish. He too fighting for yards. Good play. Emmett Rice held him up. And the rest of the defense, Renardo Green coming to finish it off. It'll be 3rd down now and 6 for Notre Dame.
You'll watch Renardo Green. He's a guy that you always see flying to the football. And this is one thing Florida State can do. They can chase things down, and here comes Green with the finish. That's an excellent tackle.
Caught that replay, saw Liam Eichenberg not back in at left tackle. They continue to work on the outstanding lineman for the Irish. 3rd and 6 for Ian Book. Pressure off the corner. Almost got there. Deep shot for Lindsey is incomplete. Asante Samuel
Florida State does a lot. They bring pressure from places you don't expect it. This was a corner blitz. Didn't quite get there, but Asante Samuel had the good coverage, forced the punt. You're going to see the pressure come off the left side.
Akeem Dent.
Asante Samuel in bump coverage does a good job running with Lindsey.
Jay Bramlett sends it away. Fair catch signal made by Keyshawn Helton, and Florida State will take over at their own 28-yard line.
It's a good series by the Noles defense. Got those 2 stops on the running plays early, set up a long yardage situation where they could blitz and play man coverage.
Tell me about what Mike Norvell's going through here, Tony. You know, you're trying to take somebody else's recruits at a program that's here, and you were great stars, but now you're not what the Noles used to be. Just trying to build almost series by series confidence in your young guys.
Trying to build confidence and trying to find out about it. He didn't recruit a lot of these players, so he doesn't really know what they do best, and he's still trying to figure it out.
Jordan Travis from the 28-yard line taking over, throwing it to the outside. Tamarian Terry, touchdown earlier, gains 2 here. Tariq Bracy flings him to the sideline. Tony, does it feel like this is a Florida State team that could get incrementally better as this season goes on and they get to know each other?
I think you're going to see that. We've watched these first 3 games that they've played in so many different lineups, different people in.
Gain of 3, 2nd and 7. Terry flushed. Good on the run. Throws here. Complete. Good comeback for Ontario Wilson. Nice tackle on the edge with the speed of DJ Brown to bring him down.
But again, you see what Jordan Travis can create. Just he's in the pocket, nothing there, scrambles out and makes something out of nothing.
Receiver downfield on the offense, number 55. 5-yard penalty. 2nd down.
It's Dante Lucas, the left guard. Back him up to 2nd and long. Talk about Florida State winning the national championship back 7 years ago. It's been a progressive slide down. Jimbo Fisher, who got that first signature win at Texas A&M today over Florida. He was the head coach here, looking for that next job, finds it. Support wasn't necessarily there for Willie Taggart. And in the middle of that, recruiting starts to crumble at the edges. Speaking of crumbling here, another 5 on the FSU offensive
Coach
line.
Norvell talked to us about this. You know, we're shooting ourselves in the foot. They get a gain, it's going to be 3rd and short, but a penalty. Now you get a false start, and now you're in an obvious pass situation. This is just where the Notre Dame defense wants it.
Second and 17. Travis rolls to the boundary. Not a lot of options over there, and he just gets rid of it. Nick McLeod was over there in coverage. Catherine.
Mike, you guys were talking about the influence of Mike Norvell, and I spoke to freshman running back Lawrence Toafili earlier in the week. He described his new head coach as a coach that's going to get it all out of you. He wants the best for you. He's going to coach you hard, and sometimes you may not like it. He's really hard on me, but he's hard on everybody. He wants the best for us, and I trust him. At the end of the day, that's exactly what he's doing, and he's making our team better, Mike.
And we have seen the track record at the places we talked about before as an assistant, as a head coach at Memphis. His offense has put up points. You imagine that's the progress for this Noles team, if not now, in a couple of years. Another 3rd and long, 3rd and 17. Travis just going to try to run for as much of it as he can. And he will get out to the 30-yard line. It was Kyle Hamilton rushing in there, saying, enough of this. We're gonna stop this right here.
And both coaches kind of knew that this would be the case. Florida State feel like we've got to stay out of those situations. Notre Dame saying if we can put them in long yardage, we're going to have the advantage. All the 3rd and longs have been tough on the Florida State offense tonight.
East goes back. Mastromanno putting all kinds of different spin on these kicks. Another one of the products of Pro Kick Australia, where they take some Australian rules football players, athletes, and get them ready to be punters in college football, and they just kick the ball in all different odd ways of spin. And Keys ran into his own man. I don't think a Notre Dame player touched it, so I think it's just going to be down there. And that's where Florida State will have the Irish take over. I don't think the ball was touched by Notre Dame, but I'm not 100% sure. Neither are the officials. As Eichenberg goes back to continue to get that left eye looked at. It is Notre Dame ball. One of the blockers ran into Keys here. Yep. The ball did come very close. Does not look
like it touched him, but that is one of the problems when the kicker, punter, puts the ball on the sideline. You're trying to block your man. You don't know where that ball is, and you can hear almost a catastrophe.
Ron Henderson on the Irish special teams was the one heading back. So when Raymond Woody captured it, it was just like downing the punt, and the Irish will take over at their poorest field position of the night, their own 19. Ian Book 8 of 11, 96 yards passing, couple of runs for 12 yards so far.
There comes my counter play again, finally. And this one was close to being out the gate, Mike.
Chris Tyree there for the
go
game.
Trips to the field, get everybody out there, and then counter and come back the other way with Tommy Trimble and the pulling guard leading. And watch how close this is to being out the gate.
So would you come back to it again, Coach?
I would run it again. Maybe not this play, but I'd come back to it pretty quick.
The freshman from Chester, Virginia, Tyree, stays at the block. Wide open, McKinley at the 42-yard line. Spilled in the secondary by Akeem Dent. First down for the Irish, a gain of 17 for Javon.
Now when you get that running game going, it really just opens up the play action shots.
Notre Dame loading up with tight ends here. They've got 3 tight ends in the game. Tommy Trimble's going to come over to the near side here and load it up next to Michael Mayer, I should say. First and 10. There goes Tyree to the left. Blockers in front of him. Tyree takes it to the Seminoles side, to the 45-yard line.
That's the classic outside zone, just stretch running. And even though Liam Eichenberg isn't in there, we're going to get just the stretch, massive hole. And that's Banks, who moved out from guard to tackle, doing a great job there.
And we've heard that from Aaron Banks, about Aaron Banks, for these last couple of years since he's been here. The versatility to bounce out and play those offensive line positions. And McKinley and Wright, the receiver and tight end respectively, downfield blocking as well. Tyree inside, give, big run. Tyree with speed, gone, touchdown Notre Dame.
I believe what that play was, Mike.
No, I do. Chris Tyree, second rushing touchdown on the season.
Same counter. Aaron Banks is going to block down, and we're going to get pullers from this side, and that hole is big. And Chris Tyree, his acceleration, it's going to be tough to get him from there.
You know, wait, the old cliche, you could drive a truck through that. I mean, you really could have driven a truck through that hole. That was incredible.
And there's something in the Florida State defense, that formation and that play is they don't have an answer for it.
And Jonathan Doerr on. So the Irish fell down 17-14. They've scored the last 2 touchdowns and taken an 11-point lead. Doug Flutie talked about it at the start of the broadcast, the versatility of that Notre Dame backfield. We've seen it. Kyron Williams has 2 touchdowns at 130 yards. And now Chris Tyree with his own touchdown, a 45-yarder. Jack Collinsworth, Doug Flutie. They're going to take a look back at the first half here. Scores and highlights from the busy college football day. Top 10 matchup in the ACC, and Nick Saban. A little bit of struggle right now with Lane Kiffin and the Ole Miss Rebels. Jack and Doug. You got a great seat down there, guys. Pretty sweet spot. 28-17. Irish on top after back-to-back scores, and this one will not be returned. Florida State will take over at the 25. So we mentioned the upheaval of the schedule. Let's go back to the bigger picture. Of course, everybody got started late. Practice starting on August 12th for the Irish. And then you had those first couple of games against Duke and South Florida. The Wake Forest game, as we mentioned, with the COVID outbreak, is postponed, pushed back to the end of the season. That means the bye week came next. Now the Irish have a busy run. 6 weeks in a row. Be with you for Louisville next week. Pitt, good team. Georgia Tech, Clemson on November 7th here. If only that game lives up to. And then BC. Phil Dracovic, the former Irish quarterback, has done a nice job for the Eagles as he's taken over the starting job there. Boston College beating Pitt 31-30. Chestnut Hill today. First down run and a hard run at that for Webb. We had a yard shy of the first down, gain of 9.
Good run, broke a tackle there. Now, I think this is really a crucial time here for this Florida State offense. They need an answer. They need to respond.
Jordan Travis, pump, it's covered, gets out of there and fires sideline, incomplete. Not pulled in by Helton.
Second and short, they were looking for another double move to Terry. They were looking for the big chunk play. Now they'll come out and try to pound it and get this first down on 3rd and 1 here. Sean Crawford did a good job that time, didn't bite on the hitch route.
A couple of freshmen in there. Preston Daniel, 45, comes in. When he has come in, he's been pretty much of a lead blocker, but now he's in there lined up tight on the line. And Travis will run to the right, and the quarterback will get there to the 38-yard line and pick up the first down. I think, Tony, we see an illustration there of exactly what you talked about this week, what Mike Norvell and then Clark Lee, the defensive coordinator of Notre Dame, talked about. 3rd and long, Florida State's going to struggle. 3rd and short, they've got a wide open opportunity with their playbook, given the quarterback skill set.
Really do. They've got so many weapons and the quarterback running in so many areas, and Notre Dame wants to force those 3rd and long so the quarterback run is not a factor.
38, Terry looking downfield, taking a shot. Coverage is there, and it's incomplete. Tamari Terry almost pulled it away from Nick McLeod. McLeod looked like the more open receiver who had beaten the Florida State DB as opposed to the other way around.
This is one of those balls we were talking about earlier, Mike. He's going to Tamari and Terry. He made up his mind. Even though he's covered, he's taking the shot and just feeling like his receiver can come down with it.
And oftentimes he does, too.
They're trying to manufacture big plays. They feel like that's what they need.
McLeod, one of the 4 grad transfers for the Irish from NC State, so has seen Terry and the Seminoles during his time here in the league. Good run, spinning hit off LaDainian Webb. He pushes the pile, and LaDainian takes it to the 46-yard line for a first down. Liam Eichenberg returning ice pack on that left eye for the left tackle. Tony mentioned important drive for Florida State. They've taken it to the Irish side of midfield. Another good first down run here, getting it done with the sophomore for Opelika, Alabama, LaDainian Webb.
They've got something going with these zone reads. Notre Dame is so conscious of Jordan Travis and staying home that they're getting some seams on the quick runs.
Notre Dame player, I think, was trying to get off to the sideline and went down. Shaking up there, Paul Moala. Mishawaka High School, not too far from here, actually from Mishawaka, from Penn High School, 9 miles from here. Athletic training staff out to look at Paul. We'll step out for 30 seconds. Not able to put anything in terms of weight on that right leg. Help to the sideline. Did not look good with his injury. Here's a run up the middle. It's Webb again. He is really gaining yardage on the Irish here. Terrific running drive with Damian Webb inside the 25 to the 23-yard line.
We'll see how patient the Florida State offense can be and continue this run game.
Yeah, it's effective. They found something here. Travis was going to keep that. Probably wishes he did, but Webb still fighting.
That's a strong run.
Sure is.
There was nothing there.
He had a terrific touchdown, did LaDainian Webb last week against Jacksonville State. Scored 2. He had one where he showed great balance, spinning it around the 5-yard line, staying on his feet. We've seen the power that he brings as well.
I know Florida State wants the big plays and the chunk plays, but this run game has been effective. They've got to stay with it.
2nd and 7. Officially 2nd and 8. Design run to the edge. Hamilton chasing along with Gracie as they show Travis the sideline, but gets into a 3rd and manageable. That gives Florida State a run or pass option with 2 minutes left in this first half.
This is where they want to be because they can really think 4 downs, 3rd and 5. They can still 3rd and 4 still run the ball with the idea that you're going to go for it on 4th and short.
And can clock manage to try to keep Notre Dame with no time at the back end of the half. Get the ball to start the second half. So Mike Norvell trying to manage what could be an important stretch in this game. Kurt Heinisch jumped for Notre Dame. Was he induced by movement or not?
I think this is a good job by the Florida State offense. They're normally going on 1 on the hand clap, the double hand clap.
Offside. Defense number 41. That penalty is 5 yards and results in a first down.
Yep. Good move by Dante Lucas. Just in case you didn't see him jump in the neutral zone, I'm going to move and make sure that penalty is drawn on him. So this much maligned Florida State offensive line has held up nicely here on this drive, especially. Mostly runs to move the Seminoles down to the Irish 12. Travis throws high for Terry, couldn't bring it down. Covered by Tariq Bracy.
Yes, they got exactly what they wanted, knowing Notre Dame's going to crowd the line of scrimmage for the run. Tamari and Terry on the slant. Got inside. That ball just has to be a little lower to let him use his body to make the catch.
See, they're really trying to get Terry involved in the offense. Terry, Ontario Wilson, and Ja'Kai Douglas, 3 receivers, could be at the bottom of your screen. Tight end to the back or on the right side. And Travis will pull it out. Going for McDonald, the tight end. Incomplete as Hamilton had McDonald blanketed, and it'll be 3rd and long.
Great job by the Notre Dame defense, staying disciplined. Everybody doing their job. good coverage by Hamilton. Actually, I think McDonald thinks this is a run.
Play, right? Yes, yeah. Looked like he thought it was a run. He engaged him starting to block. Why did Florida State get away from the run? They ran the ball all the way down here, right?
I think they had some red zone things that they wanted to get to instead of staying with what got them there.
Wide side of the field, they'll bring Terry. Put the trips into that tight side of the boundary. The Irish bring heat. Travis gets it out. Webb made one man miss, but a lot of gold helmets waiting for him over there. At the 8, field goal makes it a 1-possession game. Minute 19 left.
Really good
timeout taken by Notre Dame.
Very, very smart. Make Florida State make a decision here. What are you going to do? Probably going to get the field goal team, but this will give Ian Book a chance to get the ball back.
I want to go back. We were tight to action when we came back. We watched Paul Moala leave the field, not putting any pressure on his right leg. He's actually walking towards that Notre Dame locker room as well. Paul Moala, as I said, local product. Plays high school ball about 10 miles from here at Penn High School. As he was engaged trying to make that tackle, the right calf, just you can see explosion back there. And a guy who had a touchdown fumble return against Navy here. For any local product to be part of Notre Dame football, it's
special.
So special, and just hate to see anybody get hurt, but especially a player like Moala, who's done a lot in a lot of different roles for the Irish the last few years.
This drive stalled out, Mike, but this was an important answer for the Florida State offense. They needed this.
Ryan Fitzgerald tries to turn it into points, 26-yarder. He knocks it through from that right hash, 28-20. Our score, Fitzgerald hit a 42-yarder early on. You said that before this drive, Tony, that you thought this was a really important drive, and all 58 yards in this drive that they gained came on the ground.
And that's probably unusual for Florida State, not the way they thought it would happen, but their offensive line responded. The backs ran hard. And this is what I think Coach Norvell wanted to see. Hey, we withstood a salvo early. We got back in the game. Then we got another salvo. Can we emotionally stay with it? And they did. They came back. Now, one-score game. If the defense can hold here and they get the ball to start the second half, hey, we're right in it.
And Florida State lost the opener at home to Georgia Tech by 3. Had the open week lost to Miami by 42. But as we said, changing quarterbacks, and Brian Kelly was very keenly aware that, and he opened his press conference on Monday saying, hey, here's the headline of Florida State. They still have 7 or 8. He said first day. I think he meant first 2-3 rounds, when the draft used to have those on the first day. First couple of round type draft talents on this team, and we've seen that in the first half. Parker Grodehouse kicks it. And the Irish will bring it out from the 7. Jafar Armstrong down that left side. Armstrong, nice return. Stays on his feet, bumped out of bounds at the 43-yard line. So it gives Notre Dame good field possession with 2 timeouts and a $1.09. Those of you who are watching Clemson Miami with the Tigers up 18, you say, oh, this game's a little bit tight. Well, Notre Dame turned it over twice. The Noles turned that into 10 points. Florida State playing so much better than they did against the Canes. Kyron Williams and the Irish have run it very effectively. He has 130 yards.
I'm wondering now, Mike, what Tommy Rees does. You've had so much success with run. You think 2-minute offense, we've got to throw it, but you can stay with your runs here.
Yeah, Jordan Travis and Florida State ran the ball effectively on their last drive to get a field goal. Tighten this to a 1-score game, 28-20. Irish got the ball to start the game, turned it over on the second play, so Florida State will get it to start the second half, making this drive more important. Going down to get it, Tremble, they say he did not scrape it before it hit the field turf. Incomplete.
Florida State was coming with a blitz. Notre Dame saw it, dialed up another play, and then Florida State checked their defense.
That's a catch, I believe.
Oh, it looks like he doesn't have control before he goes out of bounds.
But it didn't move when holding that one hand. Let's see if replay will stop this or not for a look. Oh, they did not. Book on the run. Ian Book across midfield to Florida State territory. First down, 46-yard line. Bringing Terry McCauley real quick. Terry, should they have at least stopped to take a closer look at that one?
I believe so, Mike. It's about a 6-yard gain, so it's very meaningful at this point. the ball doesn't hit the ground, and he seems to maintain control as he goes out of bounds with that one hand gripped firmly on the ball. I believe this was a catch, or at least should have been looked at.
Notre Dame wasted some time there getting receivers to the proper side of the formation. Down to 40 left. Book out of the pocket, scrambling. He's going to get out of bounds, take a late hit, and that's a cost of 15, and that's a bad play.
And we have seen this from Florida State, Mike, in their first 3 games, where just the unnecessary penalties.
Jaden Lars would be.
Way out of bounds. No need to even put your hands.
15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
And coming into the game, Florida State penalized 30 times in the first 3 games. An average of 10 penalties per game is 65th out of the 75 FBS teams that have played this season. Obviously, multiple leagues going to get started in the next few weeks, so 75's the pool right now, and they're halfway home. And that's a killer because it gives Notre Dame field goal range.
And it was unnecessary.
Yeah, exactly. Still with 2 timeouts. Design run, Book, good blocking, and Ian Book moves to the 21-yard line. See if they bang a timeout here. And they will. 1 timeout left, 31 seconds. Irish second down, first down picked up.
This is the same counter action. It's actually the same play that they've made so much money with. It's just the quarterback running it now rather than the back, with the same blocking up front.
State Farm halftime is coming up. Jack Collinsworth, Doug Flutie. I see no hot dog wrappers, no food consumed down there. Maybe a little bit. I'm sure you
dressed well, though.
Yes, Doug's got a little pop to keep him going there. There you go. Guys, coming up, the highlights of the Clemson-Miami game, and also the interesting one developing with Alabama and Ole Miss. Tony, do you think there's anything to all the offense? Obviously, we're in a trend now where there's more offense at every level of football. Do you think the odd way, no spring practice, and the fall schedules being a little bit different contributes to that?
I think that is so true. I think we're seeing it in the NFL for sure. We're seeing it in college football. The offenses getting their timing a little bit quicker than the defenses, and not as much live action, I think, in practice, which helps the offense.
And for those of you who surfed over from that Alabama-Ole Miss game, which is 21-21 at the break, and with Clemson handily taking care of the Canes, we should note Notre Dame, when they had to stop football for a week or so, they really haven't had much tackling other than a scrimmage or some practices the last 3 weeks. Here is Book, tight pocket. He escapes. Book looking for the sideline, trying to preserve that 1 timeout. He will at the 12-yard line with 24 left. And 2nd and 2 coming up.
Yeah, and they did a good job, Florida State did, on the deep coverage, but 4-man rush, Lane, and Ian Book is a very, very good athlete.
87, Michael Mayer, tight end who caught a touchdown earlier. So Tony got 2 tight ends here in the game for the Irish.
And Mayer has been big in the red zone. He's a big target. Would not be surprised to see something designed for him.
2nd and 2, Florida State bringing 5. Book is looking, trembles the crosser. He's got a first down at the 6. Clock will stop to move the chains, and Brian Kelly's going to show some good speed to get down to the official and call his final timeout with 18 seconds left.
And that was the same play that Michael Mayer scored on earlier. It's the tight ends double cross. This time Ian Book picked Tommy Tremble.
18 seconds, no timeouts.
And here it is. You're going to see both the tight ends cross. Tommy Tremble's man goes behind this time. That's a good read by Ian Book. Creating confusion there with the man coverage, picking out the open crosser.
2 tight ends does so much for you. Okay, head coach in the huddle. No timeouts, 18 seconds, first and goal. What are the reminders to your quarterback here?
You're actually reminding Ian Book, hey, we're going to dial up something, but we want you to look in the end zone. If it's not open in the end zone, throw the ball away. We really don't want to. You could run and try to kill the clock and clock it, but I think they're going to take 2 shots into the end zone.
As a defensive coach, are you thinking that run's a possibility at all down here?
No, I'm really thinking defend the end zone here. Make them throw the ball in the middle of the field.
Norvell's team gave up 24 last week, 52 the week before that. Irish could get to 35 before the half. First and goal from the 6. And Book pressured, put it up, incomplete. And we got rid of it just as he was about to get hit.
And that was the thought process. All the routes in the end zone. If someone's open, we'll throw it to them. If not there, we've got to throw the ball away, preserve the time. Now here is the same thought process. You can't afford to let this clock get stopped in play.
Thinking of Tom Brady and losing track of the downs on Thursday night and all that stuff. In college, you can't talk into the headset like in the pros and remind it, hey, remember, we got no timeouts. From the 6, here's Book throwing underneath. It is Lindsey for the touchdown. Braden Lindsey finds the end zone, and the Irish able to strike before the half with a touchdown to give them a double-digit margin, in all likelihood, going into the break.
This is off the punch look. These guys are going to clear out, and Lindsey's just going to come underneath, and Florida State goes behind. It's like a pick in basketball. They went over the top. Nice ball, well done, touchdown. But it came back to that penalty, that unnecessary roughness penalty really hurt.
It sure did. Jonathan Dorr adds the extra point. 35 for the Irish in the first half. Late, Lindsey gets the touchdown, and Ian Book, his second touchdown pass of the half. He now has 60 in his Notre Dame career, and that moves him right next to Jimmy Clausen on the all-time Notre Dame touchdown pass list. One behind his offensive coordinator, Tommy Rees, who will call the play that Book eventually breaks the record if one more happens. We'll get to Brady. That's a sharp picture, my man.
You don't think Tommy will keep him at 60 and just keep run the ball for the next 6 games?
No, I like that picture of Brady Quinn. A friend of ours now does a terrific job at Fox, but Brady back in the day, he set all those very high records. But Tony, Ian Book is going to leave Notre Dame with some unbelievable marks. If this team keeps winning, he might be the winningest quarterback in Irish history. He's going to be top 2 or 3 passing yards and touchdown passes. And it's odd, really, because if you had a guy who said he's going to do that, you'd think, oh, at Notre Dame, he'll be a Heisman finalist. He'll be a for sure shot at the Heisman. It just in a different way, but it's still really effective.
No, he's done it very efficiently. I've loved watching him. I really didn't see too much of him before this year, but he is efficient. He's a winner. And to hear his guys talk about him, that he's just cool. He's the same guy every day, and he loves football.
And I love Tommy Rees' perspective as not just a coordinator, but a guy who in this era of football played that position. Tommy has said in 3 or 4 of our conversations, I just want Ian Book to be the best Ian Book he can be. And that sounds like a little bit of cliche, but he knows that the Notre Dame quarterback, if you put up 330 yards, why wasn't it 400? He knows what the pressure is in that position, and I think has been a great help for Ian Book.
Oh, he really has. And when you think about what you just said, he may leave here as the winningest quarterback in Notre Dame history. That's unbelievable.
Florida State will take a knee, take it to the locker room, and we'll take you to halftime. A lot of points in that first half. Second half, Florida State will get the ball to start. Mike Norvell's going to huddle up his guys before going to the locker room. We're going to Jack and Doug for the State Farm halftime after this. You're watching Notre Dame football, brought to you by Little Caesars.
Notre Dame football, brought to you by Little Caesars.
Do all the little things the right way. It starts with making adjustments and now knowing what the game plan is. We know the ball is going down the field. We know the quarterback wants to run the ball. We know they want to get the ball on the stretch play. We know offensively they want to bring pressure on early downs. Let's be alert for it. Let's go and dominate the second half. We felt our way through it. We did some good things, and then we did some things that we've got to clean up. Let's go dominate the second half. Let's go play.
Brian Kelly in the Notre Dame locker room just a few minutes ago. Message to his team before this third quarter begins. Irish leading 35-20 over Florida State. Mike Tirico, Tony Dungy, Catherine Tappan back with you for the second half. The Noles get the ball first. Jonathan Dorr set to kick it off on this night with the temperature in the mid-60s. It'll take Corey Wren back to the end zone. He won't bring it out. It's a touchback, and here is the aforementioned Ms. Tappan.
Mike, thank you. I talked to Mike Norvell at halftime, and he said that he thought we just need more continuous plays. He thought they owned the ball offensively. They played very well. but they need to tighten up the field a little bit. He wasn't overly satisfied with the big plays that were allowed by Notre Dame. And as for Brian Kelly, you heard him there with his team. He thought his team played great offensively, ran for over 240 yards, but the issue was those 2 turnovers. He said we need to make corrections on the outside zone play. Mike?
Okay, Catherine, I'll get Tony's thoughts on some of Coach Kelly's messaging and Mike Norvell's thoughts to you, Catherine. In a moment, Jordan Travis begins this second half with a flip up top, and it is caught, held on to by Terry. Took the hit from Houston Griffith, but it is a catch over at the 45-yard line, although Drew White was saying it was not. The Notre Dame linebacker.
Tamarian Terry in the slot and going upfield on early downs. And he's a guy that can make plays. That was a 50-50 ball that he came down with.
And you saw him trying to fumbling towards that ball at the back end of the collision. Again, not stopped by the replay booth. A couple of spins for LaDamian Webb, and he'll gain 2 yards to the 43-yard line. Gave you one quick look at his hand. Pinned it on his hip there, going down to the ground. Kept it in the whole time there. Yeah. That's a catch. That's a good forearm. Good call. Terry Wilson on the edge. A couple of blockers ahead of him, and Wilson will take it for the first down. So, Tony, what do you think of what Catherine was told by Mike Norvell about where they want to go here to start this half?
Yeah, well, I think he's been pleased with his offense. And they have moved the ball. We're seeing that up-tempo, seeing a little more aggressive passing game on early downs. But I think his offense has been fine.
And Jordan Travis settling in again. His first start at quarterback. Going to keep it here, stay in phase, and throw it to Wilson. And Wilson's going to get the first down out to the 23-yard line. So over the line of scrimmage, but a backward pass, so legal, and the chains move.
And Coach Norvell told us that Tamarian Terry was a guy that could make big plays for him. The other guy that wanted to get the ball to was Ontario Wilson.
He's over the line of scrimmage. Question is a backwards or forward pass, and that looks forward.
That is definitely
as you
forward.
See it there, yeah.
Was his whole body across the line of scrimmage?
Well, he was across, I think, at that point. We'll go back and look at it one more time just to double check. And we've seen that play using the width of the field to stay almost in phase like the old option instead of throwing it in an option shovel.
Rather than the pitch. Yeah, that his entire body has to be over when the ball is released. His back foot is still on the line. Let's see if the ball comes out. That's going to be close, Terry. What do you think?
Bringing Terry McCauley from our studios in Connecticut. Terry?
Coach, it is really close. We don't have a directly down the line shot, which is what we really need to see where exactly that back foot is. With this angle, I don't think they can reverse it because it is, you know, he's kind of out in space. So is he breaking the 34? I don't think there's enough to reverse.
I agree. His entire body has to be across when he releases the ball. That's too close, splitting hairs.
Exactly.
Terry, it was a 1st and 10 play, right? So essentially, do the officials try to mark those plays like right on the number so it's exactly at the 34-yard line, thus would help in this case determine if it was a forward pass illegally or not? Call first.
First down.
Ruling stands. Go ahead, Terry.
To answer your question, Mike, yes. Generally, they will try and put it directly, the nose of the football directly on a line, so it makes it easier to know exactly where 10 yards is, and for various other reasons. It's a good idea.
Yeah, that keeps measurements. That's why we've seen a lot fewer measurements. Or if you watch Terry McCauley games in the NFL, the games move for a reason. The chains almost never came out in your games.
I averaged about 1 per year.
See, they keep a stat on everything. All right, so FSU gets a gain of 13 out of that and a first down at the 21-yard line. And Travis, a couple of looks, takes off the other way here, and very effective use of the fake. Kyle Hamilton brings him down at the 11-yard line.
Again, it looked like a quick screen to the right, but it was actually a quarterback sweep to the left. Another good play call. I love Florida State's tempo. You're going to see him look right, but this is a design play all the way.
And Terry, just as we mentioned it, they stopped the game here for a second. They were thinking about measuring, but they are just short. It is second down. They stopped for 1/2 second thinking about it. Go, wait a minute. 2nd and 1. Where the ball is marked, it is a first down, but Travis will run it to the left, get the first down here at the 8. This is an impressive drive to start the second half, Tony, for Florida State.
We saw their last drive do that with runs all the way down the field into the red zone. Let's see if they continue with this run action. Utilize Jordan Travis. Utilize the whole field. Continue to run the football.
Mike Norvell has LaDamian Webb, back who's seen the most action so far, to the left tip of the quarterback. And it's Webb. We'll get the blocking on the edge. Puts his head down and gets in for the touchdown. So LaDamian Webb and Florida State run it down the field in 2.5 minutes on the Irish. And Florida State stays right in this game with a touchdown.
That's impressive. When we heard Coach Kelly talk about the adjustments that Notre Dame made, well, the adjustment that Florida State made was we're going to be aggressive with our run game. Crack sweep. Good blocking on the outside, wide receiver crack, getting the alley, and that's a great drive by Florida State to answer. Going for 2 here.
There's a feeling going to need as many points as possible, so go for it here.
I'm trying to get it to a 1-score game.
Ontario Wilson in motion. Travis flushed. Flips up in the air. Terry went to get it. Oh, he lost the ball on the way down. Incomplete. Terry went up, got it, but then as he was coming down with it, had it pulled away. DJ Brown was there in coverage.
Sean Crawford, I think,
was it Crawford?
Making the play late to get it out.
So it will remain a 2-score game and 9 at 35-26. The touchdown scored by Webb. 2 points to 9. And the lead for the Irish is 9. Notre Dame football is brought to you by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% on car insurance. By Little Caesars, now delivering pizza. And by U.S. Bank, helping you pursue your passion. What a game. Game of the century. Hard to believe it was 27 years ago here in South Bend. Number 1 Florida State knocked off by number 2 Notre Dame 31-24. Irish then lose the next week to Boston College on the last-second field goal. Florida State ends up winning the national championship. But that game, such great memories and just tremendous plays and players involved in that. Saw the Seminoles here a couple of years ago, and again tonight, chance to relive some of the magic moments of that historic college football game. Tyree to bring it out for the Irish. Nice return, takes it to the 27-yard line. That's where he and Book and Notre Dame will begin their lead down to 9 here. Notre Dame's offense scored 21 points in that second quarter. As everybody heads back to their sideline. Let's see if we have a flag to deal with. See the officials chatting. Just didn't see where the flag was, but here's the call.
After the play was over, personal foul, late hit, unnecessary roughness, number 52. 15-yard penalty to the goal line, half the distance, first down.
That's Bo Bauer of Notre Dame out there on special teams. So, Tony, the Florida State reaction there, there's an XO part to it, there's also the emotional part to how the Seminoles have responded here tonight.
And we saw them get down against University of Miami and not respond, let the game get away from them. I think Coach Norvell challenged them in the locker room, and they came out with energy. They came out with effort. They were running hard, and they took it to Notre Dame on that first drive. Coach Norvell has to be pleased.
Good play calling. Nice mix. Liam Eichenberg, the left tackle, out with the eye injury in the second quarter. Back in for the Irish, and good run defense there for Florida State as Josh Kando comes up with a stop. Limit the gain to 1 yard.
And that's great penetration by Josh Kando right over Liam Eichenberg.
There he was just a few moments ago before that last kickoff on the sideline, continuing to apply that ice to his left eye. Took a hand inside the face gear in the second quarter. Pressure's on. It's picked up. McKinley's the receiver. Caught it at the 25-yard line. Notre Dame first down in front of Asante Samuel Jr.
And that is just a good job all the way around. Good blitz pickup. Florida State came with the pressure. Good route by McKinley using his big body. And Ian Book put that ball right where it needed to be.
Book is 12 of 17 for 137 yards. The Irish are averaging 10 yards a play. 5 touchdowns in the first half on their 9 drives. Williams to the right. Kyron is bumped out of bounds at the 32 to gain a 7, and Tommy Tremble leading the way again.
Yes, this is that same counter back the other way, and he's going to be the lead blocker on the kick out. They've been running that counter to the left. Now we'll come back to the right.
Really rocked Emmett Rice, the linebacker for the Noles, coming over. Second and 3, and up the middle it goes. Williams a first down. Catherine, we're seeing a complete set of talent from Tommy Tremble.
We certainly are, and I spoke to tight ends coach John McNulty before the game. He said coaching Tommy Tremble has been easy. He said normally when you deal with a player of Tremble's caliber, they can tend to be in it for individual stats, but Tremble thrives on the dirty work. He'll do anything you ask of him. He'll block for his teammates, not just all about scoring points. And he said he has a relentless effort this season, Mike.
Yeah, John McNulty's been a good add to this staff, and boy, does he have a group of talented players to coach that tight end.
State's coming here with the blitz.
And Book's going to take a shot downfield towards McKinley. Comes inside on Samuel and gets it at the 25-yard line. They were going head to head. It was won by McKinley, and the play covers 38 yards.
They're coming off the edge, slide out, pick him up. Ian Book reads it. He knows he's got single coverage, and McKinley did a great job of coming back for this. Actually, not bad coverage by Samuel. A little push off there and finding the football.
Irish to 25 on the move again. Late give on the read. Williams, I'm going to wrap him up there. Won't go any further than the line of scrimmage. Corey Durden, redshirt junior.
And Mike, you can see what Florida State has decided. We cannot stop the run in base defense. They're bringing blitzes almost every play. Notre Dame is going to have to gash that.
Second and 10. Book out of the pocket, fires complete inside the 15. It's Avery Davis for his 3rd catch of the season, and it's a first down for Notre Dame.
Really nice job by Ian Book there. They're expecting another blitz. Florida State played coverage. No one was open, and Ian just moves around, buys time, and then finds Avery on the scramble drill.
Davis, former high school dual threat quarterback, who's bounced all around for the Irish. First down for Book. That pass incomplete. McKinley was held by Samuel, and the flag will move him halfway down. They've been battling all night, Javon McKinley and Asante Samuel Jr.
And Javon McKinley was just going to use his big body, get in position. This was going to be a back shoulder. Ball's in the air, contact, easy call.
So take it down to the 4-yard line. And first and goal, Notre Dame. Book design run to the corner, and Ian Book is in. Notre Dame touchdown.
Come on, man!
That left side of the offensive line, Mike, the power side, just did it. This is like a outside zone with the quarterback running the ball. Everybody reaches, and we got great blocking. Michael Mayer, Liam Eichenberg, just very, very good at the point of attack.
There's Mayer, the freshman, 87. And
Kyron Williams helps out there. So that's the outside zone with Kyron Williams as the lead blocker.
Jonathan Doerr to add another extra point. And he does so. The Irish have scored touchdowns on 4 of their last 5 drives. Ian Book had 3 on the ground against USF. Now he's got 1 against FSU. Notre Dame responds to the Florida State score with 1 of their own. The Irish are plus 16. hung 434 yards on Nick Saban's team so far, and they're mid-third quarter.
We're used to seeing Alabama with these suffocating defenses, and I guess that's just the way college football is going to be this year, Mike.
It's the sport right now. You look at the board. Oh, that is muffed. It is free. It's live. Got to get on it. And finally, accepting the hit after not catching the ball was Corey Wren. Irish give Florida State a long field. It'll be 90 yards for Jordan Travis. Here are the numbers of the quarterbacks. Don't forget Ian Book's rushing touchdown in here as well. Tony, give me a little capsule what you think watching Jordan Travis in his first start at quarterback here tonight.
To come to Notre Dame, your first start, he's done very, very well. He's made plays, and I think what he's done, Doug Flutie said it in the pregame, he's given them hope and energy.
When he was recruited at Louisville, Bobby Petrino, who was then fired at Louisville, said this was the quarterback of the future. Remember, they had Lamar Jackson there when Travis was being recruited. There's a nice toss, but it is dropped. Let's see, it'll be ruled incomplete at the 30-yard line to a Philly. Try to grab that. And Travis was highly thought of in that Louisville system to try to do a lot of those things. Look, nobody does what Lamar Jackson does, but in the system to try to replicate it.
And you can see why they thought that. He brings a lot of that to the table. That was a good ball there, too. That was off the zone read action.
And that's what we don't know. Can he throw the ball effectively enough? So far, we're seeing more of that. Show a little draw inside with Jashawn Corbin. Kyle Hamilton comes up and gives him a lick around the 16-yard line.
Good tackle by Kyle Hamilton, but again, a good play by Florida State, getting it to that third and medium where they've had some success.
Mr. Umpire, he usually has a little bit of a screen for a second. They won't see me. It's hard to lose 14 in blue. Well, 3rd and 5. This is the neighborhood where Florida State will be a little bit better. Look at the numbers. It's borne that out exactly here tonight.
Owusu Koromoa on the line of scrimmage. Looks like he's coming.
That's 6 for Notre Dame. Travis is clapping for the ball. He's going to run it to that empty space. Bo Bauer tracks him down. He'll be shy of the first down.
That is a really good play by Bo Bauer. He's tracking the quarterback all the way, and he has the athleticism to go get him down. He's right here. He's going to come across and close the distance.
We've seen Bauer, Tony, here several times, 3rd down situations. He had a terrific camp. However truncated and odd it was, he did a very good job during camp. So a little change, and I saw Lawrence Keyes walk off slowly at the end of half. So Matt Salerno, the former walk-on who was back there to catch and return punts against South Florida, back in there now. Florida State has everybody spread out all
Delay
over.
a game.
And took too long.
5-yard penalty. 4th down.
It was 4th and short. Don't know if they had a little trick up their sleeve that they were thinking about.
They may have really had something called that if they saw a certain look, we'll run the fake. If not, then we're going to go ahead and kick it, and didn't execute it quickly enough.
High priority special teams. We say that about every coach. Which coach says no? Special teams is low priority. But Mike Norvell really does put an emphasis on it. John Papuchis, the special teams coordinator. There's a lot of starters to work with. They do a bunch of things off of it. Mastromano the kick. Salerno catches it rather comfortably at the 43-yard line. Good field position for this Irish offense that has been hard to stop tonight. 42 points in 2.5 quarters. 2:30 Eastern time on NBC. We'll get a chance to check out the pre-race too. I had a chance to speak with Jimmy Johnson, who's in the 48 and leaving the 48. Alex Bowman 7th on the playoff leaderboard there. He will go from the 88 car to the 48. Got a chance to speak to both of them together. Hope you enjoy that on the pre-race tomorrow on NBC. Ian Book trying to set up the screen. Kyron Williams, you dropped it. You can't pick it up at this point.
They had something going here, Mike. This could have been a big play. Well designed, had Florida State flowing to the right, comeback screen to the defensive left, and it was wide open. Kyron Williams catches this ball. He's got a lot of green grass and one blocker there.
Williams 142 yards, 2 rushing touchdowns on the night. He'll take it that way. His spin, the move in the secondary before being brought down right around the first down marker by Raymond Woody III. Third and short coming up.
These Notre Dame backs, boy, they find the hole, they slash, and Kyron Williams just has exceptional balance. That's a great move. And going forward on contact, sets up a third and short.
Just hand it straight, run, and again the spin to get the extra yardage for Williams, and he has the first down at the Florida State 45-yard line. Seminoles, who've been flagged for a ton of penalties, are begging for one on the Irish there.
Talked about Kyron Williams running the football, and tonight averaging 10 yards a run. You'll take that.
It's a pretty good season he's in the middle of here for sure. 4 touchdowns in 3 games. Over 300 in the early part of the season. Play pass, Book looking deep, everything's covered. He'll come back and take the outlet with Brock Wright. Good to see Brock Wright out there and getting mentioned, because a lot of the tight end attention goes to the junior Tommy Tremble, the freshman Michael Mayer, the senior from Cypress, Texas, with the catch there.
And that was really another really good job by Ian Book. They went play action, wanted to take a deep shot, and rather than just throw it into coverage, hey, I'll read it out, it's not there, I'll come off to Brock Wright and make a positive play. 2nd and 3.
Certainly one of the leaders in that tight end group with all the young talent that has come in. 2nd and 3, Williams, foot in the ground, turns it upfield and has a first down to the 32-yard line, and the Florida State defensive line is absent.
Well, Mike Norvell has to be upset here. They've got the perfect call on. They dial up a run blitz, scot-free in the hole, and this is what Kyron Williams is doing to people. He's making people miss.
And a shout out to the offensive line. We keep talking about them, and they are doing such a good job of completely controlling the line of scrimmage again here tonight. Book keeping and ducks down to avoid the big hit over at the 28-yard line. It'll set up 3rd and 5 as we dive under 4 minutes on that turning third quarter clock.
2nd and 5.
2nd and 5. Thank you. See? Happens to Tom Brady. We all have cover. we can all lose track of downs at any point now.
Even a veteran can get confused on the down and distance. I like it. I like it.
See, where were you when Tom needed you the other night? Sebo Flemister's the back. Book, all kinds of time. End zone shot for Tremble. Incomplete.
Tommy Reese told us he has to keep reminding himself. Tommy Tremble is such a good blocker. He's got to remind himself that he's not just a blocker. He can do things. He can get deep. Took a shot there on 2nd down. Now brings up a 3rd and 5 that they need to convert.
You know, when we saw Tremble really have an impact the first time, it was the Georgia game down in Athens between the hedges, and you kind of looked and go, oh, here's a great receiving tight end, and what he's developed into is really impressive. Dropped by Williams. He's had a couple, and he has been frustrated by the mistakes he has made. We'll see what the Irish will do. Bring on Jonathan Dorr for about a 45-yard field goal attempt.
And that was the situation. Kyron Williams knew the situation. He knew it was just a little bit short of the first down. He wanted to catch it and spin and run before he actually controlled the ball. Just trying to do a little too much too quickly.
Justin Yoon did such a good job here. It's a question of following him. Jonathan Dorr has been very solid in his stead. Set a Notre Dame points record last year. He's been solid on his kicks this season. This from 45. And Dorr misses to the left. Just trying to sneak it in off that left upright. And it curled no good. His 2nd miss on the season. So Florida State
of the night, 28-10. Clemson, they are still the team to beat in the ACC, Mike.
Yeah, no kidding, Jack. Oh, my goodness, what a hit. Jeremiah Owusu-Koromoa got a running start at LaDamian Webb, who could not brace for that, and he rocked him for a big loss there on first down. Wow.
Well, they used Jeremiah in a lot of ways, and I think this was some type of read, and it was obviously the wrong read. Wow, that is a great hit.
And turns his shoulder, keeps the helmet out of it, safe, and also avoid targeting. More importantly, keep everybody healthy, except for Webb, who just took a shot. Yeah, but he's right back out there. He's back for more. Ovia Gofu, along with Sean Crawford, the tackle there. Jack just showed us the highlight of that Clemson game. Of course, everybody's got that November date scheduled on their calendar, the Saturday night after Election Day in prime time. The Tigers come here. Both Notre Dame and Clemson be undefeated when it happens. Hey, you saw the score, 28-10. It's not even as close as that. My pals Fowler and Herbie are banging away over there in that game. There's nothing going. Miami has 4 first downs in 3 quarters, Tony.
And they were averaging 40 points a game. They have got nothing going against that Clemson defense.
And the Clemson defense against the Notre Dame offense in here in November. It's a long way away, but that could be fun to watch. Pressure. Ogundeji couldn't bring down Travis. Keeping the play alive. And finally, the journey ends. Sean Crawford held him by a foot, brought him down. It's another 3rd and long, and it's another no conversion for Florida State.
This defensive line has done a good job, and just pressure off the edge is where you want to keep him in. He's tough to get down. But that's great hustle by Dalen Hayes.
It's great pursuit by the defense, too. You can see that Notre Dame defense running around. There's Dalen Hayes. You saw him on the sideline, the man who got Travis with the stop. Alex Mastromano again to kick, with Matt Salerno back for the Irish. It's going to work out quite well in terms of a net punt of 40 yards as it's down at the 32. Above the Rest is brought to you by Jersey Mike's Subs. And it has been that extra yardage, Tony.
Yeah, and they've done it all day, and there's been some big holes, but there's also been tremendous effort, falling forward, driving, keeping your feet going, running after contact. Yards after contact has been just as impressive.
You love when that becomes a trademark of your running back room, and we've seen that tonight. We've seen the combination of Williams and Chris Tyree put up over 200 yards and 3 rushing touchdowns, and obviously that credit shared with the Irish offensive line. And Florida State knows that. They know they've got to bring 2, 3, 4 bodies to stop the second effort. Tyree was the back. Emmett Rice, the tackler in the final minute of this 3rd quarter.
Here's a tough situation as an offensive coach. You want to keep running the ball. You want to run the clock. But Florida State is blitzing, and they're trying to deny you the runs. You're going to have to throw the ball a little bit to keep the chains moving. Florida State is coming with these 8, 9-man fronts, run blitzes, running through on your backs. You're going to need some passing game.
Avery Davis, the motion man. Book in trouble, able to escape. Doesn't have a lot of receivers on this side. Throws it towards McKinley, who's coming across. And it all falls incomplete. But that's the experience of a quarterback who has command of what he's doing.
They're going to come after Ian Book. We're going to get blitz off the outside. He feels it, spins away from Gainer. I'll put it out there where only my receiver can get it. It's going to be a completion or an incompletion, not an interception. Well done.
It's not intentional grounding. You're not messing around with anything.
Doesn't show up on the stat sheet. Just looks like an incomplete pass, but that avoided a catastrophe.
3rd and long. Pressure coming, but a flag stops the play for an Irish false start.
False start. Offense number 3. 5-yard penalty. 3rd down.
So it's on Avery Davis. It's 3 penalties on the Irish here tonight. We talked about Florida State's penalty issue. Notre Dame had only been penalized 6 times in the first 2 games. So an average of 3 per was 2nd best amongst FBS teams.
And that's impressive. That is really what you're looking for.
3rd and 16. It will be Book on the designed run, and Book will get it out to the 35-yard line. Irish will punt it away when the fourth quarter begins.
Good series by that Florida State defense.
Each team a touchdown. Florida State missed their two-point conversion, so the margin at half was 15 and 16 after 3. We'll return to Notre Dame Stadium after these messages from your local station. You're watching Notre Dame football. Aerial coverage is brought to you by Geico. 1812 overture, always a part of the time at the end of the third, start of the fourth quarter. Band plays it. And use of the cell phone flashlight to do as much as you can with the social distancing. Everybody's spread out, but at least you got a good vision of what was going on in the stadium. What a night for Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah again, Tony.
Yeah, we talked about that 93 Florida State Notre Dame game, and there was a linebacker in that game that looked just like this, Derek Brooks. You see Jeremiah just all over the field, instincts, explosion, just making the right play at the right time, and then this type of hit with the shoulder, just unbelievable. If I'm an NFL scout, this is the kind of nickel linebacker I want.
Oh my goodness, this guy has every game given you wow moments. What do you know about Derek Brooks?
Just a little bit. Just a little bit. Hall of Fame player. Yeah. And a good person, too.
There goes Jordan Travis on the run. Nice run. Travis down the sideline. Can he stay in bounds? He's pulled out by Kyle Hamilton. Terrific run by Travis. Trying to flip the field, get something going for Florida State.
Yeah, this is just off the zone read. He keeps the ball, and he, in the open field, he makes things happen just like a running back. He's a half step away from going the distance.
33 on that run. His give inside is stopped up by the middle of that line. Toafili had nowhere to go. Jacob Lacey has seen more time. He, Jason Adamiola, and Howard Cross III have played. Byron Tagovailoa-Amosa, usually the starter at the defensive tackle spot. One of two Irish players not available for tonight. Jack Kaiser is the other one. Kaiser, who went from third string to game ball in the South Florida game. 2nd and 9. Travis almost taken down by Daylon Hayes, somehow escaped and got back to that original line of scrimmage. That is some kind of an athletic play.
Daylon Hayes is rushing off the right side here, comes scot-free, untouched, and doesn't get the sack. He's going to be dreaming about that one tonight.
You're talking defensive players before, and Derek Brooks, that's his son, DeKalen, young man who you got to see growing up as well, Tony.
I did. He was at our practice facility a lot as a baby. That's making me feel old.
Redshirt junior on this Florida State team. Played a whole bunch last year. Has been in for some snaps this year as well. 3rd and long. Bo Bauer showed pressure. Jordan Travis checks the plan. Pressure keeps coming. And Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah, that Brooks-like player, he and Ade Ogundeji snuff it all out in no gain.
He has great instincts. He understands what's happening. He's a smart player as well as being physically gifted. Yeah, I would not be surprised. Florida State's got to go for it here.
It is still a 2-score game at 16, needing the 2-point conversion with both touchdowns. Not at a higher sophistication level in the passing game at this point with the development of the new offense and Travis at quarterback. That's why these 3rd and longs or 4th and longs have been such a problem. Kyle Hamilton, the safety, nosing around the line of scrimmage. He's bringing pressure. He got through. Travis got away and completed it. Nice play to Warren Thompson, and a first down at the 35. This bumps into some bodies on that Notre Dame sideline. Everybody looks okay.
Use Kyle Hamilton as a blitzer there, but Jordan Travis just has the ability to come free. He's going to come around really unblocked.
Inside give for 3 to Webb. We have a flag down back in the secondary. Usually a spot that means too many defensive players.
Legal substitution, defense, 5-yard penalty from the previous spot. First down.
Florida State's tempo catches the Irish for a 4th penalty. There you are. Isn't it great when Rob Hyland and Pierre Moussa, our producer and director, count them for
I know,
us?
we appreciate that help. Yes.
This is so much easier. Put Williams College and Vanderbilt in the producer and director chair. Just kind of eliminate our need for Minnesota and Syracuse math. Travis shot, end zone. Oh, there were 2 guys both breaking open. Couldn't get it to either Wilson or McDonald.
No, that was a good job by Jordan Travis, sitting in, letting it develop, but that was a miss. Good read, and he's looking at the deep crosser. I don't think that was for McDonald. That was for the crosser, and he just let him too much.
Cameron McDonald, who came in here 2nd for Florida State with 11 receptions, no catches here tonight. Tight end. Second and 5. Travis hit by Isaiah Foskey. It's a gain of 3 yards. Foskey, the sophomore, Travis took the worst of that one. He got tagged there. Tony, every time we start talking about Notre Dame and defense and what they might be able to do, you tend to mention number 7's name a lot.
I really like him. He has athleticism. He's a smart player. He's got explosion, and he plays hard.
It's 3rd and short, 3rd and 2. Travis has run 17 times. He's gone over 100 yards on the ground on the night. And he will go backwards on that number and on the field. Bo Bauer gets in there for the sack for the Irish.
I would really like to see them just pound that in there on 3rd and 2. You're going to take 2 shots with it. And he was going to throw the bubble screen in, and the receivers weren't looking for it.
You see Ogundeji, Foskey, Bauer all busting in and taking all the time away. So the Noles need to get it to the 25-yard line on 4th down. Having the pattern, flipped to the side and brought in by Tamarian Terry, battling again all the way through with Nick McLeod. But the strength of the 6'4" receiver keeps the drive alive.
And he is their big play receiver. This is one-on-one, going right at it. McLeod really was looking for the back shoulder, and that's probably pass interference, but a good catch and good play by Terry.
Diamond formation at the top there. Come back to the opposite side to Terry again. Tariq Bracy. It's a nice open field pull down. He's given away 6 inches and 30 pounds to Terry, and he stopped him for a minimal gain of 4.
You know, they've had success running the quarterback down here. I would expect to see that. Put the ball in Jordan Travis's hands, option or zone read.
Touchdown, a 2-point conversion. It becomes a 1-score game. So some crucial snaps here for the Seminoles. 2nd and goal. Travis designed run. Irish were waiting for that. He'll be pulled down. Another one of the Adamiola brothers, Justin, there for that one. He's the defensive end. Brother Jason inside's the defensive tackle. Mr. Travis is going to be sore on the way home tonight.
Yes, he will be. He's playing his heart out. And you've got 2 shots here. You want to score. You don't have to score here because you know you're going for it on 4th down. Definitely has a chance out there with the bunch. He's got 3 one-on-ones out there.
Lengthy drive, trying to finish it with a score. Travis on the roll, going to fire and throw the interception. Sean Crawford comes away with it. Down the sideline goes Crawford, and the 6th-year graduate student comes up with a big play. There is a flag in the end zone. Flag not by where Crawford made the pick, but over by that half.
Call this offensive
Offensive pass interference. Number 83, The penalties decline. Results of the play: interception, first down.
Jordan Young, the guilty party. Travis gets down to the red zone trying to pop it in. And Sean Crawford, who's overcome so much in the way of injury, moved from safety to corner tonight and comes up with a big interception for the Irish in the red zone. Notre Dame up 16, about halfway through the fourth. Come in here to play Notre Dame, 2:30 Eastern time. We'll be back at it. Move along to Georgia Tech, 46-27. Irish will be in Atlanta to play Georgia Tech on Halloween. Do not mess with the Rockney statue, folks. What are we doing out here? Halloween will be 3 weeks away, so we'll see Scott Satterfield's team try to turn things back around. Irish beating Louisville last year in Satterfield's first game as a head coach. Notre Dame taking over with the lead and the run by Kyron Williams.
Did we mention breaking tackles and falling forward and making people miss?
I think people can fill that blank in at home at this point. It is
That was
definitely
a run that should have been a 1-yard loss that ends up 2nd and 5.
What does that do to a running back room?
Oh, you get so excited about that. Everybody cheers that. And defensively, you just don't know what to do now. You dial up the perfect defense. You think you have them stopped. Long yardage situation, and it's not good enough.
You know, while we have that shot, I'm going to just give these guys a pop one more time. Liam Eichenberg is 74. Aaron Banks is 69. Jared Patterson, the center, is 55. Tommy Kramer, the right guard, is 78. Robert Hainsey, the right tackle, is 72. At the offensive front for Notre Dame, Williams bounces it to the outside and gets that first down. He took nothing and made it into something. Moves the chains halfway through the fourth. But Tony, that offensive line has neutralized the front for Florida State here tonight.
You're right to highlight those guys. Coach Kelly told us my first week here with you, he said this is the best group of 5 that I've had since I've been here. Now that's saying a lot when you talk about Notre Dame offensive line.
So that fist bumping thing, that carried over from back when Quentin Nelson and Mike McGlinchey were here. They would do it every snap, and then the rest of the guys would do it. And it's one of those things that builds generations of success in a position room. Edge Williams, oh, what a run. That's the foot in the ground and cutting upfield. Man alive. That kid almost took it all the way. It's brought down at the 49.
And you know the offensive linemen are loving this because the coaches have said, hey, we're going to run the ball. They're going to come after us.
Brought down there on the run. But Asante Samuel Jr. on the other side of the field, who is shaken up and involved in the tackle. Athletic training staff looking at him, and we'll step out for a second. The Irish. Asante Samuel Jr. had a fumble recovery in the second play of the game. Has 3 picks already this year. He walks off to the sideline. This was well away from and after the play. He went to throw down Braden Lenzy, and his leg was the one that got kind of trapped awkwardly. And he was helped off. Akeem Dent comes in his place. Thompson Nasruddin also missing in that secondary for Florida State. Good safety who has not played this year. 1st and 10. Book puts it in the air. Williams continues to get the work and continues to deliver blows to this defense. Gain of 7.
And that was a pass play, but this offensive line has to be taking satisfaction that they are pounding the football. And even though Florida State is in run fronts, they're using run blitzes. Hey, we're going to run the ball, and you guys are going to take charge of this last 8 minutes of the game.
We mentioned earlier when Travis got popped and hit hard that he was struggling a little bit. They're looking at his right hand. He's frustrated. Go back and watch the play there. That we believe he was injured on, because when he went to get up, he couldn't put any pressure, I should say, on that hand to help himself up. Williams waiting, found that little crease on the Tyree, beg your pardon. He gets to the 35-yard line. Doesn't matter who they throw in there right now. They're gaining yards and churning clock with a 16-point lead. And another Florida State player is down. That's Stephen Dix Jr., freshman from Orlando. execution coming up for you. So SNL across the country. As soon as we're done, for many of you, to local news, and then Saturday Night Live, 11:30 Eastern, 8:30 Pacific, here on NBC. Stephen Dix helped off the field. There he is for Florida State. Clock begins to turn as it's reset, and you see backup warm-up action for a man who started for quite some time for this Florida State team, James Blackman. As we showed you, Jordan Travis struggling with the hand. Looks like Blackman, who was the starter to begin the season, will go back in if Florida State gets the ball back. Tyree runs to the 26-yard line. So Chris Tyree closing in on a 100-yard game. And Florida State takes timeout, down 16 with 4:40 to go.
Notre Dame has just decided to get in this 3 tight end package and pound the ball. And again, Mike, you shouted out the offensive line.
Well, while we have a second here, we want to just acknowledge a couple of folks who are such key parts of Notre Dame game days and the experience here in South Bend over the years who we've lost over the last few months. Recently, it was Sergeant Tim McCarthy. He delivered the public safety message at Notre Dame Stadium for over 50 years. End of the third quarter tradition. It was a pun. The crowd would laugh. It was a moment everybody looked forward to. We think of Sergeant McCarthy and his family, and Paul Borowski, who was one of the original members of the Notre Dame on NBC production crew. There he is with John Dockery, sidelines for many years here. The whole crew loved being around Paul. He worked all but 2 Notre Dame games over 29 seasons. We lost him back in April. So our thoughts on the Borowski family and the family of Sergeant Tim McCarthy. For the folks who come to ND games on a regular basis, you know the laugh that happened after the McCarthy comments on the PA. Our thoughts with their families tonight. Feels like we've run 2 plays in the last 10 minutes. It's 2nd and 1 for the Irish at the 26, salting it away on this drive, continuing their dominance on the ground. They've run for 328 yards here tonight, and they'll get the first down and keep the drive going here. That first offensive line out there, Liam Eichenberg missed some snaps into the second quarter with that injury to his left eye we told you about. This is where the play happened. Eichenberg, hand gets up in the eye there, went off, came back with the ice bag, has come back in and played this second half. But check this out. Wow. That's an offensive lineman.
Yes. Was there ever any doubt that he was going to come back in the game? No doubt. These guys are they're a brotherhood up there, and they're tough.
Oh man, that's. Whew. He just had that look on his face too, like you're not going to keep me down.
Out there.
Yeah,
I have to be in.
See him chatting there with Josh Kando on the opposite side of the Florida State line. Notre Dame just running the play clock down here. Snap it at the back end as we are inside of 4 minutes to go. Here is Tyree. He's at the 10-yard line with 3:47 to go. Oh, tomorrow night, Kirk Cousins, Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson's had as good a first quarter of the season, Tony, as anyone. Vikings and the Seahawks will start with football night, 7 Eastern time. Save your best stuff for tomorrow, but give me your first thought on tomorrow.
I have a feeling we're going to see a lot of points in that game, too.
Oh, by the way, it's going to be a representation. Dalvin Cook is probably hearing from teammates Kyle Rudolph and Harrison Smith out in the Northwest. Florida State, of course, with Dalvin and Domers and Rudolph and Smith. Always a part of the Saturdays as teams travel in the NFL.
Yeah, no, we'll see that Irish representation for sure. Those guys will have a big impact on the game.
Florida State takes its second time out. They've got 1 left here with 3:42 to go. Brian Kelly understands what Mike Norvell has been through on his side and now on their side. Both teams in different ways have had to deal with COVID-19. Norvell being diagnosed with the virus, having to miss the Florida State game, coach virtually from home, watching practice, addressing the team in that virtual manner that we've all adjusted to. And Brian Kelly with his team having to restart here. And Tony, they looked a little sloppy in places, but have tightened that up here in the second half.
And I think you saw the rust that was inevitable. They just made some mistakes early on that probably wouldn't happen if they were still in rhythm. And Coach Norvell, I think he's got to be happy on the other side. He's not happy about the score, but he's trying to set a culture here. And so calling timeouts, hey, we want to stop these guys. We want to get the ball back. We want to continue to fight. And this team is fighting.
Down to one timeout left. First and goal for the Irish. It will be Chris Tyree. And he'll run it to the 6. And Norvell is going to take his final timeout here with 3:36 to go. It gives us a second to send our best to one of the best of all time, Hall of Famer, Coach Bobby Bowden. Bobby Bowden was dealing with another health issue and then was diagnosed with COVID-19 and was in the hospital. The report in the Tallahassee Democrat and from the Florida State folks was quite encouraging late this week, and we hope that continues to be true. And we send all of our best to Bobby, his wife Ann, the Bowden family. I worked with Terry Bowden for some years. One of the great people in college football.
Really one of the greats. He was a role model for me as a young coach to know that you can do it the right way, honor your family, honor the Lord, coach hard, and still be excellent at what you do. You know, I was in Tampa when they had those great teams going, and I always watched Coach Bowden. He was just such a hero to me. So I definitely wish him the best in recovering from this. You know, unbelievable thing, Mike.
Yeah.
I told you this before, but I was a senior in college when he got the Florida State job.
Wow.
I went all the way through NFL, coach, retired.
Won a Super Bowl.
And retired. He was still coaching. He's recruiting my son.
Is that
Yes. My son is sitting in his office, and I'm saying, wait a minute. I'm retired now. You're still coaching. What's wrong with this picture?
That's great. And, you know, while we have a second, also wishes for continued return to health to Reverend John Jenkins, Father John, president of University of Notre Dame, also dealing with COVID-19. Send him our best wishes. Second and goal here. It's Lindsey running it around the edge. He'll be pulled down up at the 3-yard line. We'll have third down coming up. Father Jenkins was at the White House at the Supreme Court nominee Amy Coney Barrett's announcement. And of course, she is not only a Notre Dame law alum, but also a professor here at Notre Dame. And he was diagnosed with COVID-19. There was some talk about that on campus. He had a letter to the campus community expressing his regret and error of judgment for not wearing a mask at that event. It's, you know, reminded all of us to mask up as best we can, whenever we can, wherever we are. And the good news is, checked in today, it sounds like Father Jenkins is doing well and on the way back to health, and we look forward to seeing him back here at Notre Dame Stadium later on this year. Third and goal. Here's the inside run that will be stopped at that 2-yard line. So 2:40 left. The lead is 16. 4th and goal.
And Mike, you have to love that from the Florida State defense. They haven't played great. They've been manhandled a little bit up front, but when they had to make a stop, and Coach Norvell is saying, hey, treat this like it's a goal line situation that we've got to stop them to win the game, and they bowed up and got the third down stop. We'll see what happens here, but that shows me something from Florida State.
Brian Kelly's going to run the clock down here, drain off as much time as possible, take a timeout, and then we'll see if the Irish will go for it on 4th down with the lead at 16. .158 to go. So we're back here, as we mentioned, for Louisville next week, and then the Irish will play at Pittsburgh. Panthers have lost a couple of tough games here in the league. At Georgia Tech, which got the win over the Cards last night, and then that Clemson game November 7th. Odd to start with 4 home games. The whole season has been odd. But as you look at it, Tony, the North Carolina team has shown some explosiveness. Boston College looks a little bit better than maybe some thought. Terrific job by Jeff Hafley getting going there. But that Clemson game, you just look week after week after week. Are they both going to hold up? There's a chance we could have some special night in here November 7th.
There really is, and that's going to be the challenge for Notre Dame and Coach Kelly, to keep everybody focused week by week. I know he'll do a good job, but we're all going to be looking at that and pointing to, hey, that game in November is going to be something special.
Teams and players can't look at. We can. With great
I
interest.
can't wait.
I'm
telling you, I cannot wait.
Well, for those who are hanging on this snap, the Irish will go for it on 4th down. Fourth and goal. Tremble in motion. The toss Tyree, strung out, not going to get there. Denied. The Florida State defense comes up with the stop, and they will take over with 1:52 to go. And as a coach, I think you pointed out, there's a lot to take out of that, even though it might not mean anything in terms of the game.
No, there really is. Hey, we've got to have some pride here on defense, Florida State. I'm going to call timeout. We want to get the ball back. You guys need to stop them. And they did it. That'll be something they can point to and say, you know what? We bowled up when we needed it. We kept them out of the end zone. We gave our offense a chance. Maybe we're not going to win the game, but this is what we've got to have and got to start to develop. Especially after being manhandled for 554. They're trying to build culture and do all those things that sound like it's cliche, but does mean something internally. James Blackman, the redshirt junior from South Bay, Florida, who did not play in the game against Jacksonville State, but started the first two. And has 25 starts in his career, checks in out of his end zone. He escapes and flings it. He's out of the tackle box. And I'll tell you, Mike, I've really been impressed with James Blackman. Watching the early games when he played, he was under duress a lot. Young offensive line. He hung in there, took a lot of shots. And when Jordan Travis went in last week and played well, he was on the sideline. He was one of the signalers. He's congratulating everybody. He's talking to Jordan Travis after every series. He has been a real leader even when he's not playing. You have to admire that. Okay, 25 starts here. Travis looked like they were looking at his right hand as we saw him, but here's Blackman finishing out the game, and the quarterback position will remain in flux here for Florida State. Underneath pass to Cameron McDonald for the first time he catches one. So they have Chubba Purdy also on this team. He's a freshman from the state of Arizona at 111 touchdowns. Everybody says he's going to be the next great thing. He broke his collarbone in fall camp, but he's coming along. And there he is. We actually saw him warming up before the game with the other quarterbacks. So are they getting close to Purdy? Will we see him down the line? Blackman is taken down. As Ogundeji and Jason Matamiola stop him as we get to the final minute of this one. Florida State will go for it here. You've got nothing to lose. Try to make a first down. If you don't make it, Notre Dame is going to, just take a knee. So take your shot here. Fourth and 8. And Blackman throws. It's complete for the first down to Marion Terry, who's going to end up having a good night here. Statistically out of bounds, the 18-yard line. Terry over 100 yards with a touchdown. He'll get 130 on this evening. And that's a good sign for Florida State as well. Coach told us that, we need Tamarian Terry to step up and make some of those chunk plays, and he showed some of his ability. They said he hasn't been completely healthy all year. He looked like he's healthy tonight. Another good team in the league, North Carolina, is next up for Florida State back at Doak Campbell next weekend. It's caught. It is inbounds. Clock will turn, and we'll see if there's one more play left in this one. Boy, tough day for the state of Florida. Miami has given up 35 to Clemson. Florida gave up 41 in their loss to A&M. Florida State giving up 42 here. USF.